오늘은 다르다 어나더 레벨 핫식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 13 대망의 결승전 상암 콜로세움에서 현장 관람객분들과 함께합니다. 안녕하세요, 영경입니다. 반갑습니다. 오랜만에 이렇게 현장에 관람객분들을 모시고 정말 큰 무대 결승전을 함께하게 됐는데요. 저보다도 선수들이 굉장히 설레고 떨리는 마음으로 무대를 앞두고 있을 것 같습니다. 커다란 함성 대신 박수와 함께 끝까지 선수들 응원해 주시기 바랍니다. 이 역대급 라인업과 역대급 명경기들로 구성됐던 이번 시즌도 어느덧 결승전 딱 한 무대만을 남겨두고 있습니다. 돌아온 프로토스의 황제 정윤종 선수, 그리고 새로운 테란의 왕좌를 차지하기 위해 도전하는 이재호 선수의 매치업이 여러분을 기다리고 있는데요. 이번 시즌 두 선수의 발자취 저와 함께 따라가 보시죠. 네, 먼저 정윤종 선수입니다. 24강에서 정민기 선수와 김성대 선수를 꺾고 복귀하자마자 당당하게 1위로 16강에 올라섰습니다. 16강에서는 변현재 선수, 이재호 선수, 김지성 선수로 구성된 죽음의 조에 편성되게 되는데요. 여기서도 당당하게 1위로 8강에 올라섰죠. 이 8강에서 만난 상대는 철벽 김민철 선수였습니다. 김민철 선수를 상대로 풀세트 접전 끝에 4강에 올라섰습니다. 이 4강에서는 프로토스전 승률 8할인 박상현 선수를 4대2로 꺾고 당당하게 지금 이 무대에 올라온 정윤종 선수입니다. 계속해서 이재호 선수의 발자취입니다. 24강 B조에서 시작했는데요. 이 박지훈 선수를 상대로는 승리를 거뒀지만 김태경 선수에게 패배하면서 최종전 끝에 16강에 올라온 이재호 선수였습니다. 이 16강에서는 변현재 선수의 지목을 받아 역시 죽음의 조에 속하게 됐는데요. 여기에서 정윤종 선수에게 한번 패배하면서 최종전 끝에 2시즌 연속 8강에 진출했습니다. 이 8강에서 만난 상대는 김성대 선수였습니다. 첫 번째 세트는 아쉽게 내줬지만 연이어 2, 3, 4세트를 따내면서 4강에 올라섰고요. 이 4강에서는 김태경 선수에게 화려하게 복수에 성공하면서 역시 결승 무대에 서게 된 이재호 선수입니다. 계속해서 두 선수가 우승하게 된다면 만들어지는 기록들도 함께 살펴보시죠. 자, 먼저 정윤종 선수가 우승을 차지하게 된다면 이형호, 김명훈, 김정우 선수에 이어서 2회 이상 우승한 선수의 타이틀을 얻게 됩니다. 프로토스로서는 최초로 2회 우승자가 되는 셈인데요. 이 프로토스는 지난 시즌 변현재 선수에 이어서 이 2시즌 연속 우승자를 배출해내는 종족이 되겠네요. 자, 계속해서 이재호 선수가 우승을 하게 된다면 만들어지는 기록들입니다. 이재호 선수는 시즌2에 첫 출전했는데요. ASL에서 12시즌 만에 생애 첫 ASL 트로피를 들어올릴 수 있게 됩니다. 이영호, 김성현 선수에 이어서 세 번째 테란 우승자가 되겠고요. 또한 ASL 시즌 8 이후 5시즌 만에 테란 우승자가 탄생합니다. ASL 사상 우승자는 8명에서 9명으로 늘어나게 되겠네요. 자, ASL 시즌 13 결승전 정윤종 선수와 이재호 선수의 경기, ASL 사상 5번째 프로토스 대 테란의 결승전입니다. 그동안의 결승전들을 살펴보면 ASL 시즌 1에서는 김윤중 선수가 조기석 선수를 상대로 3대0 승리를 거뒀습니다. 이 시즌 7에서는 김성현 선수가 변현재 선수를 상대로 3대1 승리를 거뒀고요. 시즌 8에서는 이영호 선수가 장윤철 선수를 상대로 4대0 셧아웃 우승자가 됐습니다. 그리고 바로 지난 시즌이었죠. 시즌 12에서는 변현재 선수가 유영진 선수를 상대로 풀세트 접전 끝에 생애 첫 우승 트로피를 들어 올렸습니다. 여지껏 2번씩 우승 트로피를 나눠 가졌던 프로토스와 테란, 과연 이번 시즌에는 어떤 종족이 우승 트로피를 들어 올릴지도 지켜봐 주시기 바랍니다. 자, ASL 시즌 13 정말 많은 분들이 기대하고 계시는 오늘 결승전인데요. 유저 여러분들은 과연 어떻게 오늘 경기를 바라보고 계실까 굉장히 궁금했습니다. 아프리카TV e스포츠 페이지를 통해서 승부 예측을 받아본 결과 64%의 유저 여러분들이 정윤종 선수의 우승을 예상하고 계셨습니다. 과연 많은 분들의 예상대로 정윤종 선수가 복귀 후 화려한 우승자가 될지 아니면 이재호 선수가 또 다른 반전을 만들어낼지도 기대가 됩니다. 자, 계속해서 이번 시즌 13 함께했던 선수들은 오늘 경기 어떻게 바라보고 있을지 설문을 통해 확인해 봤습니다. 결승에 진출한 2명의 선수를 제외한 14명의 선수에게 설문한 결과 김태경, 김민철, 유영진, 김성대, 정영재, 김윤중, 이재동, 그리고 김지성 8명의 선수는 정윤종 선수의 우승을 예상했고요. 박상현, 변현재, 김명훈, 김경모, 조일장, 그리고 도재욱 이 6명의 선수가 이재호 선수의 우승을 예상하고 있었습니다. 자, 이번 시즌 선수들의 예상을 보더라도 정말 박빙의 경기가 예상되는 오늘 ASL 시즌 13의 결승전입니다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌 13 대망의 결승전. 과연 투황 정윤종 선수가 우승을 차지할지 아니면 도전하는 이재호 선수가 우승을 차지할지 두 선수의 결승전 여러분의 뜨거운 박수와 함께 지금 시작하겠습니다.
Today's matchup. 레인, 정윤종, 프로토스, 라이트, 이재호, 테란. ASL 시즌 13 파이널. 레인. 라이트.
ASL 시즌 13 대망의 결승전에 오신 여러분 진심으로 환영합니다. 역대급 실력을 지닌 두 선수들의 대결이 기다리고 있습니다. 오늘 과연 이 무대에서 우승을 거머쥘 선수가 누가 될지 오늘 시작전 선수들과 이야기를 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 정윤종 반갑습니다.
예, 안녕하세요. 정윤종입니다.
우승하고 난 이후에 휴식기를 가지고 3년 만에 900일 만에 노크를 했는데 바로 결승이에요. 상대 이재호 선수입니다. 우승 DNA 정윤종 선수. 재능은 노력보다도 그 위에 있다는 걸 증명하고 있는 선수인데요. 오늘 이 무대 상대는 이재호 선수입니다. 개인적으로 이번 결승전 대결 자신의 그 DNA 능력 그리고 자신의 그 포텐 스스로 좀 어느 정도는 인정하실 것 같은데요. 내가 하면 무조건 우승이다. 어떠세요?
그런 건 아니고, 예, 그런 건 아닌데 이게 저도 이제 저를 좀 못 믿고
네.
조금 이번 시즌 잘할 수 있을까 좀 의아했는데 이게 하다 보니까 실력이 는 것 같아요. 계속 연습을 하다 보니까 좀 늘어서 지금은 저에 대한 믿음이 좀 확고해서 오늘 무조건 우승할 것 같아요.
아니 그러면은 이재호 선수는 노력의 아이콘이고 그 천일간 떠나 있을 때 이재호 선수는 도전 3년간 도전 하지만 우승을 못했어요. 하지만 정은정은 우승하고 난 이후에 오자마자 그럼 이 부분에 있어서는 이재호 선수 어떻게 생각하세요?
우선 근데 재호 형이 되게 잘하는 선수고 이렇게 결승전도 또다시 올라오는 거 보면은 저력 있는 선수는 맞는데 근데 노력은 저도 하거든요.
오!
그래서 오늘은 좀 힘들 것 같아요.
이야! 노력의 아이콘 재능 있는 정윤종 선수도 나도 노력을 한다. 오랜만에 돌아와서 실력을 보여주고 있다. 이런 부분에 있어서 이재호 선수는 항상 이제 도전하고 준비하고 노력하고 했는데 ASL 우승 타이틀이 없어요. 우승이. 그 부분에 있어서는 어떻게 생각하십니까?
우승 타이틀은 오늘 제가 만들면 된다고 생각을 하고 있고요. 그리고 지난 또 몇 년간 제가 도전을 하면서 결승전을 못 왔던 거는 오늘을 위해서 준비 과정이라고 생각을 하고 오늘 꼭 우승하고 가겠습니다.
와, 그렇다는 이야기는 오늘 정윤종 선수와의 대결에서는 절대 지지 않을 것이며 마지막 테란의 빛으로서 오늘 좀 우승을 좀 거머쥐겠다는 그 각오인데요. 그 예전 시작부터 이야기를 해보면은 예전 팀의 에이스 시절에 정윤종 선수 연습생이었어요. 그때 연습하라고 이렇게 빵을 사주면 햄버거를 사주면서 정윤종 선수의 격려를 해줬는데 정윤종 선수는 1년 만에 잘렸습니다. 그리고 난 이후에 성장을 하고 난 이후 이래 거물로 좀 돌아온 상황이에요. 지금의 이재호 오늘이라면 정윤종 선수와의 그 대결에서 확실하게 이 재능러를 이 노력과 재능을 찍어 누를 수 있다는 그 계산이 좀 있을 것 같은데 정윤종 선수 까다롭지 않으세요? 무섭지 않으세요?
일단 제가 이번 ASL 모든 경기를 챙겨보면서 정말 저 친구는 재능이 정말 좋다. 오랜만에 대회 나오는데도 긴장도 별로 안 하는 것 같고 오히려 무대에서 더 빛을 발하더라고요. 그래서 저도 그 부분에 있어서 방심하지 않고 준비 정말 많이 해왔고 오늘 재능을 노력으로 꺾는 모습을 꼭 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
이야! 무대에서 강하다. 이 무대에서 긴장 안 하고 지금 강하다는 이야기를 해줬습니다. 그렇다면 이재호 선수도 이렇게 결승 경험이 있고 큰 무대에서 좋은 모습을 보여주고 있는 선수인데 오늘 대결 정윤종 선수가 생각하시기에는 어떤 결과가 기다리고 있을 거라 생각하세요?
그래도 아무래도 그 재호 형도 결승까지 올라온 선수고 제가 4강 경기를 봤어요. 근데 프로토스전을 굉장히 잘 하는 것 같아요. 그래서 좀 쉬운 게임은 안 나올 것 같고 4대2 아니면 4대3으로 제가 우승하지 않을까.
와, 상대를 인정하는데 오늘 경기 마지막에 승자는 나다라는 이야기를 그럼 많이 잘하면 2포인트, 3포인트 정도 내줄 수 있다는 이야기를 했습니다. 그렇다면 준비된 이재호 이 3년간 계속 도전하면서 여기서 우승을 차지하기 위해 노력을 많이 했는데 오늘 그럼 이재호 선수가 지금 준비한 스토리대로 이어나간다면 몇 대 몇 승부?
저는 이번 시즌 올라오는 내내 좀 많이 힘들었었거든요. 그래서 정말 힘들게 올라왔고 오늘도 제가 준비하는 과정에 있어서 너무 어렵더라고요. 그래서 좀 잘 풀리면 4대 2 정도로 이길 것 같고 힘들게 이기면 4대 3 정도 되지 않을까 생각하고 있습니다.
자, 오늘 모든 선수 이 두 명의 선수들이 쉽지 않은 상대다, 서로 강력한 상대다 인정을 하고 있습니다. 그럼 끝으로 이재호 선수가 정윤종 선수에게 오늘 시작전 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
일단 서로 이제 결승전인 만큼 준비도 많이 해왔을 거라 생각이 드는데 서로 누가 이기던 재밌는 경기 했으면 좋겠고 서로 파이팅 했으면 좋겠습니다.
이어서 정윤종 선수 한 말씀 해주시죠.
우선 솔직히 처음에 ASL 참가했을 때는 이 정도로 진지하게 참여를 하지 않았는데 계속 올라가다 보니까 이제 팬분들이 너무 응원을 많이 해주시고 기대를 많이 해주셔서 이번에 진짜 열심히 준비했거든요. 네, 결과로 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
노력과 재능 있는 선수의 대결, 과연 ASL 시즌13에서 어떤 그림이 기다리고 있을까요? 오프라인 무대에 정말 500분 넘게 함께하고 계십니다. 여러분이 그토록 바라는 결승전 대결, 여러분의 뜨거운 박수로 이번 결승전 대결을 시작하겠습니다.
선수의 플레이는 대단하네요.
돌아온 부왕 정윤종이 돌아오자마자 결승 진출.
레인 정윤정
이재호 선수 그 뚝심은 대단했던 것 같습니다.
완벽한 타이밍으로 슈퍼테란 이재호 결승전에 올라갔습니다.
라이트 이재호
제가 아무래도 중간에 한 3년 정도를 쉬었기 때문에 오랜만에 진출하게 되긴 했는데 한 경기 한 경기 좀 이기자는 마음만 앞서다 보니까 좋은 결과가 나왔던 것 같아요.
거의 2년 만에 결승전을 진출하게 돼서 기분이 굉장히 좋고 제가 2년 전에 김병호 선수한테 결승전 졌을 때 너무 후회가 많이 됐는데 이번엔 느낌도 정말 좋고 그때만 해도 이제 제가 아프리카 대회를 나오면서 최고 전성기였다고 생각을 했었거든요. 결승전에서 기세가 좀 꺾이면서 그 다음 시즌, 다다음 시즌도 뚜렷한 성적을 못 냈을 때 이때는 좀 힘들지 않을까라는 생각을 많이 했었어요.
계속 이제 참여를 하게 됐을 때 좀 성적이 좋았는데 4강, 8강, 뭐 결승 많이 올라가다 보니까 이 정도면은 많이 했다라고 생각도 하기도 하고 부담도 있었던 것 같아요. 광탈이라고 하죠. 빨리 떨어지게 되면은 욕먹고 무시당할 것 같은 느낌이 있기도 하고 그래서 원래 안 나올라 했는데 응원도 많이 해주시고 사랑도 많이 해주셔가지고 나도 이제 참가해가지고 보답해야겠다 이런 생각이 컸어요.
거의 이 정도면 4강이라고 얘기를 하더라도 뭘 할 말 없을 것 같은데요.
가장 좋아하는 조였는데 딱 들어가게 돼서 기뻤습니다. 지금 보니까 다 잘하는 선수들이에요. 재호 형도 저랑 같이 결승전에 올라가고
전 시즌들까지만 해도 변현준 선수한테는 안 진다는 생각을 가지고 있었어요. 이번 시즌 할 때는 안 진다는 생각이 없어진 거예요. 대뜸 저를 뽑아서 좀 많이 당황스러웠고 또 운 좋게 좀 올라갔다고 생각을 하거든요.
오랜만에 참여를 하다 보니까 저한테 뭐 기대를 생각보다 많이 안 하더라고요. 오히려 그래서 편하게 했던 것 같아요.
엄청난 수비력과 집중력을 발휘하면서요.
이재호 선수 그 뚝심은 대단했던 것 같습니다.
프로토스전이 이번 시즌이 좀 쉽지가 않았어요. 저는 좀 힘을 많이 잃었고 프로토스 선수들이 좀 많이 힘을 얻어서 저는 그 무기들을 쓸 줄 알았거든요. 제 인터뷰 도발 때문인지 모르겠지만 또 뻔한 대로 하면은 제가 아마 쉽게 이길 것 같습니다.
오늘 한번 뻔한 스타일이 뭔지 제대로 한번 보여드리겠습니다.
원래 하던 뻔한 수들을 하더라고요. 그것 때문에 좀 쉽게 이긴 것 같아요.
강력한 우승후 김민철 선수 잡아내면서
프로토스를 잡아먹는 괴물 중의 괴물이 정신을 못 차렸습니다.
김민철 선수랑 할 때가 좀 더 위기였던 것 같아요. 재능이 높은 선수라는 걸 알고 있었기 때문에 4강에서는 연습도 많이 하기도 했고 김민철 선수를 이겼기 때문에 자신감도 붙은 상태여서 큰 어려움은 없었던 것 같아요. 맞는 얘기 같아요. 타 선수들에 비하면은 제가 또 연습량이 그렇게 많은 사람은 아니어가지고 분석을 많이 하는 스타일이에요. 확실히 이기는 방법 이런 걸 머릿속으로 많이 생각을 하고 정리를 하는 스타일이어가지고
저는 정말 노력형이죠. 제가 생각해도 좀 센스가 많이 없고 묵묵히 노력하는 거는 정말 잘한다고 생각해서 어떻게 보면 노력도 재능일 수 있는데 사실 결승까지 올라올지 몰랐는데 올라올 때 과정들을 보니까 완성형에 가까운 선수가 아닐까 생각이 들 정도로 정말 잘하더라고요. 준비도 그렇고.
옛날부터 잘한다고 생각을 했었어가지고 좀 만만치 않은 상대이기도 하고 솔직히 그때는 이렇게 포스가 없었거든요. 재호 형이. 근데 계속 올라오면서 더 단단해진 것 같아요.
여기까지가 한계다. 운이 좋았다 이렇게 하는데 나는 그렇게 생각 안 하고 센스와 실력으로 올라왔다 생각하기 때문에 나도 결승전에 걸맞는 경기 할 테니까 서로 재밌는 게임 했으면 좋겠고
복귀하자마자 이제 결승전 올라왔기 때문에 이번 시즌의 주인공은 저라고 생각해요. 재호 형 좋은 조연이 되죠.
제가 대회를 포기에 떨어지던 뭐 조금 뒤에 떨어지던 묵묵히 응원해주신 팬분들에게 너무 감사하다는 말씀들을 전하고 싶고요. 그런 점들을 보답하고 싶고
제가 우승하고 싶은 마음보다 팬분들이 제가 우승하는 모습을 보는 그 마음이 더 크다는 걸 느껴가지고 동기부여가 돼가지고 열심히 하는 것 같아요. 감사하다고 말씀드리고 싶네요.
이번 시즌 제가 우승자로 거듭나서 최고 테란 칭호를 한번 가져오도록 하겠습니다.
ASL에서 프로토스 중에서 이제 2회 우승한 사람 없다고 들었어요. 이번에 좋은 기회가 생겼기 때문에 프로토스 최초로 이제 2회 우승하도록 하겠습니다. 파이팅!
What is up, everybody? We're here in the finals of the ASL. Light versus Rain. I'm super pumped to be casting this. I have no idea who's going to win, but I think this could easily be one of our best finals yet.
Dude, this has honestly been one of my favorite seasons. It's awesome to see it back in front of a giant live audience in the new AfreecaTV studio. If you do get to visit Korea, of course, you can check this out. It's over in Digital Media City. This is actually where OGN used to have a studio. AfreecaTV has taken that over as OGN is gone, but a great place to have a finals. And what a finals this is going to be.
Yeah, and what an intro, by the way, for this finals this was. We were, like, waiting for almost, I think, 40 minutes before we got to make an appearance. We were just kind of sitting here vegetating, wondering when we were going to finally get to talk. But amazing opener, amazing venue as well. I just want to kind of echo what you said, Tastosis. If you guys do come to Korea, this is an excellent location, excellent studio to check out at Digital Media City. But Light versus Rain, I don't know how Rain's going to perform here. He's looked amazing, obviously, in PvP in the past. He's looked great in PvZ, or he wouldn't have gotten as far as he has. But going up against Light here in a PvT, I'm not so sure. Maybe this is a little bit Light favored. What do you think, Tastosis?
Yeah, I would lean a little bit towards Light, but Rain, I think, is very good at Protoss vs. Terran right now. Like, the matches that he has had in the matchup already, like, for instance, against Royal, he looked fantastic in. Of course, he beat two of the world's best Zergs in the last couple of rounds, so it's not as fresh in our mind, but I think his Protoss vs. Terran is very good. On the other hand, you have Light here. He just kind of destroyed Bisu 4-2. He definitely looks stronger than Bisu there. And, I mean, Light is... I mean, this is the best Terran there is right now. And there's something I wanted to mention about Light, right? Because last season we had a TVP Finals. This season we have a TVP Finals, but they're both very, very, very different, right? Like, Mini vs. Rush was great, but I think Light vs. Rain is better. I think Rain is probably the best Protoss in the world right now. He looks amazing. And while Rush is great, and I love to watch him and learn from him, Light has a different feel to his play. And tell me if you would agree with this. It's that feeling of inevitability. The same type of feeling you get watching Flash, where you're like, he's going to get enough to kill you.
Yeah, it's a train that you cannot stop. You cannot slow down. And I like the way that you articulated that, Tastosis. Kind of crazy to have Rain back here. Let's not forget he's one of the biggest streamers in the country, and he had taken a little bit of time off because his stream was so successful. But then he comes back. By the way, not even streaming StarCraft almost ever. He comes back and now is in a finals of an ASL. I mean, that's incredible to do.
Yeah, he is, like, the amount that I'm impressed with him, I couldn't possibly overstate. I think that he is a genius, truly, of this game. The fact that he is a multiple tournament champion in StarCraft 2, a multiple tournament champion in StarCraft 1, he quits, he comes back, and immediately goes to the finals and literally looks better than every other Protoss, including Mini last season, who was the champion. Like, Rain has impressed me even more than Mini did last season, so he's unreal.
Yeah, and he's winning in such a pronounced fashion. I mean, this is truly a gifted individual that is able to succeed, whether it's StarCraft 1, StarCraft 2, or in the streaming space, which, as we all know, it's hyper-competitive. It's hard to grow a big stream, and he's doing it not even playing StarCraft, which is his main game. Like, how is that possible?
I know.
I mean, that's just, I mean, if you look at, like, Jaedong and Flash and Bisu and all these other guys that have big streams on AfreecaTV, yeah, they're playing StarCraft, their main game. The fact that Rain's been able to be so successful, kind of doing whatever he wants, it's just a testament to how much of a incredibly talented person this guy is.
Yeah, and we just saw some of his stats there, and it showed, of course, that his PvT win rate isn't as good, but then it showed who it's against. And almost all of Rain's losses are against Flash and Last. And, like, that's kind of the funny thing, right? Like, those are the two best Terrans of the modern era. And the third other Terran of the modern era that looks like them, that has that inevitability that we were talking about, is here. It's Light. So, I mean, this is basically the next iteration of those two, where it's just macro on another level for Terran, safety on another level for Terran, micro, strategy, just that next level up, even above someone like Rush or someone like Royal.
Yeah, and Light has a very wide range of styles as well here in this matchup, and this is going to be a fun one to see because there are so many different ways to approach the matchup here, and Rain is such a planner, but Light is such a preparer. I just want to get into these games, to be honest.
Oh, I want to see them so badly. Like, we saw the map pool before. It's the perfect back and forth. I mean, that's why we have the alternating map picks, but we're literally going to see it swing back and forth on who has the comfortable map. And that's going to make it more exciting as well. Opening up on Eclipse, it seems like Rain is going to be able to set the tone for this match. So I'm very excited to see what he's got planned out for this first game on the most plannable map.
Yeah, and Rain, I feel like I have a harder time putting my finger on his PVT. It's definitely different than Bisu's, and it's definitely different than Mini's. I feel like Mini's builds a lot of times are optimized to punish, if that makes sense. Where Bisu is more of a brawler in general, and he's got a very wide range. I feel like if we can see Rain play PVT the same with some of the same ideas with how he played PVZ, I think it's going to be very tough for Light to stop.
Yeah, like what I like about Rain's PVT that we've seen so far is the way that it's very modern. Like his optimizations, where if you screw anything up, he'll just kind of out macro you and stay ahead. We saw that really well done against Royal earlier in the tournament. So that, I think, is what his strength is, and I think it's actually a more powerful style than what Bisu does, and a similar level of power to what Mini does. But Light is like the guy that never really gets behind. Like this guy will always have the most units that Terran can have at any given moment, and he's also got more experience than pretty much everyone else in the tournament.
Yeah, Light he's just such a scary Terran player, and he's been in Flash's shadow for a long time. It's kind of tough to be, the outstanding Terran player when Flash wins everything all the time, but Flash is out of the picture for now. I mean, I'm sure he'll be returning eventually, but right now, this is Light's moment to basically try to take the crown, to take the throne and be the king of Terran and the champion of the ASL, but going up against Rain Man, it's not going to be easy.
Certainly it is not. Set 1 Eclipse, followed by Allegro, Revolver, Vermeer, Butter, Monopoly, Metaverse. It's a great map lineup. Rain looking to take map number 1, the hardest map for Terran versus Protoss. But I'm sure Light's going to have something up his sleeve, so let's see what Rain has prepared and how well he can execute it here.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one, and it looks like we're ready to get this going. This is the ASL Season 13 Finals, Rain versus Light in a best of 7. The winner will come out the champion and the greatest StarCraft player in the world currently. Let's get this going.
이클립스에서 게임을 시작합니다.
In the bottom left, we have Rain. And in the top right, we have Light.
So this is, I think, currently, like, the most played map, basically. It's still in the, map rotation. It is still, in every major tournament. And, one thing about 1v1 maps, like maps with 2 spawn locations is what I'm trying to say. Look, I mean, there's a lot of rushes that Protoss can do, right? And that can range from, a proxy gate to a gas steal. And it looks like this is going to be a gas steal as well, by the way. But, that can be tough for Terran. I think that Terrans have gotten very good at kind of dealing with that. But, we would generally say this is a better map for Protoss. And then even beyond the fact that it's just a map with 2 spawn locations, it's hard for the Terran to get a third, which makes some of the play you want to do kind of limiting. So we do see Protoss having a bit more success on this map, which is why Artosis was saying, you know, we really need to see, you know, a Protoss win here for Rain. Although I guess it's 10-17. I'm surprised by those results. Now that I'm looking,
they reverse those results. It's actually the other way around.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's 17 Protoss wins and 10 Terran wins. But
okay.
The other matches actually had it the correct way. But yeah, it is a tough map for like a lot of reasons. That offensive gas, I think that the map is going to go very well for Rain because of that style that we were talking about before, where he has these optimizations where he can steal the gas here, and if you just kind of macro correctly behind this, it's very hard for Terran to attack or take a third. Like, either one. You almost have to gear up for an attack and take a third. You know what I mean? Like, make nothing but units as if you're going to attack, then realize you can't attack and take your third base and just kind of sit there, because Protoss is going to be able to get a lot of units. It's a very wide area. Oh my god, this SCV is going to go down, Tasteless.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy. I mean, you're really not supposed to be losing an SCV this early on, and I think there's like literally no way you can get away. All right.
Some pretty insane dancing.
The range on that probe, man.
Yeah.
So this is going to be the very modern fast expand post-gas deal, which is basically Zealots incrementing out one by one, and a Nexus taken with a gas taken a little bit later on. Now, I don't know this build that we're seeing Rain do that well. It's just not one that's in my toolkit. Are there ways that Terran could do an SCV Marine Rush to try to punish this, or are the Zealots just high enough in number that you really can't?
Yeah, no, they're just, it's too high, it's too long of a distance, it's too far away, you don't have your gas. So, in this situation, if you don't make the second barracks, you just, okay, well, he's making a second barracks, that's a very late second barracks, but normally you'll just make a bunker and expand yourself here. Now, Rain is going to try to run by. Ooh, my god, is he going to be able to, okay, killing that's important, but he sees no command center, and he sees these Marines pop out. So now we get to see how Rain wants to react to this.
All right, he's pulling some SCVs here. It's going to be, I think, 6 total with the other SCV that's with the Marines a little bit further ahead. This is going to be a problem here for Rain. I mean, this is not something that's going to be easy to manage. And the shield's already all knocked off there right away. Probes are going to be coming down, but, you know, you need to have 1 or 2 Zealots in the fight. Probes alone are not going to be very good against Marines if they have cover by SCVs. He's going to make a cannon here, and either Protoss is going to hold this and Terran loses, or Terran is going to topple the Protoss's position, and Rain is probably going to be in a loss in a couple minutes.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Like, the cannon, if it gets up, it's basically a hold. It's basically Light is super far behind. Here we go. Another one gets started here. Those Zealots tanking a lot of damage. The Probe's actually dealing a lot of damage here as well. He tries to get on top of the Marines. Another Zealot coming down now, and he is pushing these Marines back with the Probes. The SCV's trying to surround the cannon here. And, oh my god, the SCVs kill the cannon, but all the Marines are dead to the Probes. This is backwards world. We see the workers killing the Marines and the workers killing the cannons.
This is a crazy moment here. But the SCVs, you know, they've been whittled down. There's a command center coming now. Rain is just trying to buy time. Again, with the 1 cannon finish, I guess maybe Marines could try to move to the right and avoid the shots from it. But I think this is basically over. Rain has survived the attack. And is in tremendous shape right now because the gas has only just now been taken here for Light. And so, you know, the factory is still a ways off, whereas the cybernetics core should already be finishing.
Yeah, it's like Light is in a pretty bad spot here. There were a lot of probes killed, but SCVs died as well. And just the fact that there is a second Nexus is the big deal.
Right.
We'll see what Light can kind of pull off here. He's going to go into his factory. Obviously, he has his command center up. Rain actually adding another cannon, which, you know, I think it's better safe than sorry for sure. And you're right. Like, his cybernetics core is done. He should be feeling pretty confident here.
Yeah, and 3 Zealots here. I mean, this is just never going to be broken. Keep in mind that it's hard right now for Rain to know what's going on behind this. Oh, wow, getting an Academy? What?
I think he's getting it just to scan the main base.
Oh, that's so weird. Okay, yeah.
And,
I was going to say...
You know, he has enough Marines that if he wants to make a medic, I think it's a good move.
Yeah, but his barracks are floating. So, I mean, that's why I'm confused.
I don't think he's going to go, like, Marine medic, but, like, if you just land and make 1 medic, it actually makes your, like, 7 or 8 Marines that you still have, like, way better. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
just as, like, a little support medic.
It's a funny thing that, yeah, if you have 1 medic there, the Marines can become so much more spongy.
Yeah.
And so there are some kind of alternative playstyles we'll see where people occasionally do that. It's pretty rare, and it's certainly not popular in the way people are playing right now. Yeah, I was just sort of surprised to see an Academy that fast if he's going to lift the barracks is off. You know what I'm saying? In my head, I always feel like it would complement the build more since you already have 2 barracks to then maybe try to make some medic Marine. But, you know, even though this is kind of going back to the basics, it's worth repeating every once in a while. The reason why you don't normally see medic Marine in this matchup is because almost everything Protoss has as the game goes on beats it. That means Reavers, Psystorm, and honestly, even a lot of Dragoons can just beat medic Marine. But occasionally you'll see moments where there's a lot of power with that, and they can really punish. But in this case, he went for the scans, and he's going to see that it's going to be Reaver Tech here from Rain. Rain is basically playing the most conservative Protoss play post a gas steal, which is to always tech into Reavers because since Terran is, lots of times they do make 2 barracks like they do in this game, but even if they don't, they make a lot of Marines because they have the excess in minerals and they need to try to get some presence on the map. And just getting the Reaver allows you to basically fight that, and it will negate any kind of pushes from the Terran early on because the Reaver is always going to win that fight.
Yeah, absolutely always going to do that. And I gotta say, like, the Academy play I actually really like. I haven't seen this before against the cannon defense, but the cannons slow everything enough that you can scan and see what's going on and then react, whereas if it's a non-cannon defense, you actually just have to blindly go turrets here because the shuttle will be in your base already, so you have to, like, kind of auto-counter everything with the turrets, but here, like, Light is pretty flexible, right? Like, he's got good scouting going on. He has a very... Like, he knows exactly what Rain is doing. So he's, like, making some turrets. He has some Goliaths. He's making siege tanks. He's completely safe.
Yeah. And, I mean, this is a pretty comfortable spot, I would say, from where Light is right now. But, again, you know, he's kind of sealed himself off. I don't know where exactly you would be in a game like this one for Light because, you know, the gases were so late, but I know that he probably just can't be killed.
He definitely can't be killed right now. Like, Light he's sewn up pretty damn tight. Like, he's got turrets, Goliaths, siege tanks with siege mode, he's got scanners, he's got his armory going. He knows the timing of the 3rd base, he knows how many gateways there are. Like, this whole game is an open book right now to Light, whereas Rain is playing a little bit in the dark. It's not like we have an observer over in Light's base.
Yeah.
And with his turrets up, we're not likely to see one either.
Yeah, it's annoying for the Protoss if they can't see how many factories are there. They don't really know what kind of game the Terran wants to play. And, you know, it's not as straightforward as factories or no factories, you know. And so this is going to be, you know, I think not the worst thing in the world right now for Light.
I'm liking it. Like, this is pretty decent overall considering what happened early on. I'm wondering what the next stage is. So he's going into 2-1 upgrades. He's actually getting an add-on for his starport. So I'm not entirely sure. Like, he must be wanting a dropship, which is kind of a strange play here. But we'll see what it ends up doing.
He lands
so funny. Barracks. Yeah,
probably making a fire bat.
Might be. I like the idea. You know, you have an extra barracks, so why not? You can do that. It doesn't matter if you lose it or something.
No, you're trying to get some utility out of that somehow. So he's going to stick with 2-base power play. He's getting the 2nd armory. And this is, to be honest, I always get really scared when I have to play against stuff like this. Like a guy who's just going to stay back and, like, power up, and I don't get to, like, interact with him at all. you know? It can be tough to deal with.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, you know, in this game, it's going to come down to the drop ship dropping somewhere and trying to pull the Protoss' army away. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a third command center. Okay. So he's just going to take a third. For some reason, I decided that he was just going to power up on 2 bases. Like we saw C play like a long time ago.
Well, it's kind of like a slow taking of the third, but I think the game kind of dictated that anyways. The dropship is out, and he drops out a single Vulture. Looks like some Dragoons are set to try to catch it, but Light actually doesn't go that path. Oh, they're still going to go ahead and catch it, though, so... Oh, he actually gets the dropship away, at least for now. Very well done, but the Vultures aren't going to really find any damage, unfortunately.
Yeah, there's nothing they can really do right now.
Yeah, there's like pylon walls all over the place. There is, you know, Rain has his own shuttle, so even if you get a drop off, you might be able to clean it up quickly. And now Light is going to start to push out. You notice he has made a lot of turrets. He knows that, you know, these counter stabs that you have with the speed shuttles are very, very dangerous. He's trying to push out here, but this is kind of what I was talking about from Rain, where he's going to optimize into a position where it's really hard to take the third. So Light is ready for the third, but this is difficult. Like, look at the spread here. Rain is making a huge arc. He's up a good 20 supply right now, and Light is being very careful pushing forward.
Yeah, this is kind of scary. Like, he hasn't taken this third base yet, but the one way that Protoss can lose this is to, like, overextend, basically, and try to attack in and fail, and that would be an immediate death. So a lot of this is going to come down to how patient Rain can really be in this moment. Great double shot.
Oh, the Zealots actually just charging in right now, getting on top of a few of the siege tanks, but it seems like Light is absorbing everything here, and Rain is pushed back. Doesn't do that good of a job, to be honest. I think that Light dealt with that very, very well.
Yeah, this is tough, man. He just can't quite punish this. This is what, you know, Light wanted to go for. He really wanted to power up as much as he could. Oh, hold on, but there's nothing defending these tanks over here, Tastosis. If these Zealots can get air, that'd be huge.
But the 2 mines there really tanked a lot and dealt a lot of damage. More Zealots, though, do come up, and these 4 tanks are all going to be killed off easily. There's a few tanks up at the third base, but now Rain microing heavily against them, brings up that Reaver, gonna hit some sick Scarabs there, and Light's gonna lose just about every tank.
Oh, man, his control is so good, even picking up the Reaver when he knows it's going to get targeted. And, I mean, I think that barely Terran survived that, but you got to be worried about everything that's coming out of these gateways right now. I think he's up to 10 gates. Has Templars here as well. Keep in mind, speed shuttle in the game. Storm drops are in order here.
That's definitely coming, and we'll see how well Light can actually defend against that. It's very hard to defend the natural and the third base from those storm drops because the minerals are right next to where everything, you know, where you can build the turrets, basically. So the High Templars always get out near the line. But Light lost a lot of tanks here. It's a little bit rough, but his macro is just so phenomenal. Like, he's sitting there doing all this micro, trying to take this third base, and seamlessly goes into 7 factories at that time. So he's got insane production right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking really, really comfortable, I would say, for Rain. But it's impressive that Light managed to get this extra base out here. And, you know, one of the problems with this map is that if Terran gets this third base and they can't really be broken after that, it's kind of hard to stop them from getting the 4th base as well.
If Terran takes their time and gets like really high supply, like 180 plus, yeah, they can kind of just go over and take the 4th. And then you have to like threaten either hitting different locations with your entire army or taking every other base on the map as Protoss. So we'll see which way that Rain wants to go about it. Don't forget, he does have that Psystorm in the shuttles now, so it's going to be difficult for Rain to do any attacks, and that harassment should start up pretty soon.
So we just see the Dragoons clearing out some mines here. You can see that the Protoss is stretched up into the top left, although I guess with this many Vultures here, maybe he's not going to be able to keep this Nexus. But nobody's taken control of the bottom right either. And it almost seems like Rain wants to just kind of kick down this entrance and try to run the Terran over. I don't know if this is going to work, though.
Light actually brings back his vultures from attacking that Nexus because he knows how serious this is. He has to hold on against this. Now, here we go. The Psystorm drops coming out. The shuttles being pushed back reasonably well. More storms go down, but the spread of Light is just magnificent. Those storms, oh my god, getting vultures and siege tanks alike. More Psystorms coming forward. The siege tank count is certainly falling, and Light is just barely going to hold on.
That was a crazy moment back there. We saw so many tanks fall, and Rain is basically keeping up the pressure. His goal here is to flatten his opponent. He wants to come out here and basically take out as many tanks as he can. One of the easiest ways to look at this matchup is to just see how many tanks the Terran can keep in the game, or how many tanks the Protoss can kill, because that's the big asset. The 3-3 upgraded tank, if we get far enough along in the game, that is a real threat. Splash damage is very scary. And, oh, big catch here.
That's a lot of probes that are falling down. Beautiful interception with the vultures. Rain has to be hurting from that one. And look at this, we have even supplies. This is generally a pretty good spot for Terran. If you're at like 160 against 160, neither side has a particularly large bank. And especially with Light now landing his 4th command center, this is kind of the important moment. If he can hold on to that 4th, he will easily fight against the 5 bases of Rain.
Yeah, Light on this 4th. If I will tell you, when I get to Terrans and get that 4th base, I'm very uncomfortable. The top left is very tough to take, and then even though, like, yeah, there is the bottom right you can take, that's the only other spot you can grow into. Because the way this map is built, you run out of bases pretty fast on both sides. And so right now it's basically 4 base versus 4 base here. We didn't see any storm drops connecting onto the SCVs or anything like that, so the Terran's economy is in full force, whereas we've seen already a couple of probes get sniped by vultures. I'm getting a little bit scared here for Rain. It looks like Light may just like will his way through this.
It is looking that way. Rain doesn't have like some nice lead to work with at this point. Normally what you do on Eclipse is you get ahead in the early in the mid game, but Light has kind of parried every single thing that Rain has done masterfully. And suddenly I'm looking at this game, and what does Rain really have left? Yeah, he's still maxed out. He has a great army and everything, but he needs Light to like clump his units up to try and attack, something like that, so that he can capitalize, you know, with his spells.
If Light plays a pretty good control game, which I think he's really done so far with the vultures especially, basically denying bases in the top left, and I guess this one will be cleaned up over here, but you know, pretty much punishing the Protoss and keeping them under control. I just don't see an opening for Rain, right? Like, Rain developed in a very specific way. He went into Reavers, then Speed Shuttles, and then High Templars, which is a perfectly fine tech route, and we see it on many games, including the map that we have here. But the problem is that you don't have any kind of way to force a fight like you do with carriers. You don't have a way to recall, although recall's not very good on this map, and so you see him relying on these just big drops with the shuttles, but I'm worried this isn't quite enough.
Well, he's attacking in pretty well here on this 4th base location. When the storms get up near that middle line, it's going to be dirty. In fact, he's storming some of the tanks, walking up to defend, and there's no vultures here. Storms going all over the siege tanks. Rain looking to batter down the 4th base, and he is taking out a hell of a lot of tanks here.
Yeah, we haven't had any storms yet to kill these tanks. The top right one goes down, and it looks like just barely Light's going to stay alive. Now, I don't know if it would have been worth it to try to storm all of the SCVs. There was an opportunity to do that, but it seems like Rain thought it was more important to try to take a fight. Now, the problem is that even though a lot of tanks were killed, and that's extremely important, I just don't know if this is going to be enough damage to really punish Light in the long run.
It's an interesting choice that he had to make there. I actually agree with Rain not storming the SCVs, even though it looked juicy, because we're late enough into the game Light no longer has main minerals or natural minerals, so he has a lot of SCVs, but not a lot of mineral patches. So I think even if you storm there, his economy is actually still okay.
Okay.
So I like the reduction there of the siege tanks, even though the storms would have looked great. We would be like, whoa, he killed so many SCVs, but then like you send over all the idle SCVs from everywhere else, which is what he just did anyways over to that 4th base. But now, you know, Rain is taking those bottom right bases. I don't, like, is he going to be able to attack in again? Like, I think that attack was pretty good, and he is up in supply, but is that how you want to play this game? Because it's hard for Terran to actually get a 5th base at this point.
Yeah, he's going to see that there's Arbiter tech here. And we do see occasionally, like, really late Arbiters made after, you know, the Templar shuttle game has run its course. And we'll still see shuttles and Templars. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the main late game tool that Rain has right now is Psionic Storm onto these units. But it's getting kind of tough, right? I mean, Protoss is going to take this bottom right. We don't seem to have enough for Light to where he wants to push just yet. But if Protoss quietly takes these 2 bottom right bases and doesn't get challenged on that, that's going to be a pretty big issue.
It's hard to get down there and actually push that as well. And if you do start pushing that, of course, Rain always has options to either attack your 4th base or try to take top left as well. So yeah, there's a lot of hard choices that are going to have to be made here for Light, and you can see he's actually having a hard time remaxing. He's been sitting at 150 or 160 for the last few minutes here, and despite having great upgrades and great defense all game, like, this is a map where for Terran, the 5th base is incredibly difficult to take.
Yeah, and I mean, to be frank, we're running out of map here. You know, this is one of the features of Eclipse, is that you don't have endless expansions. So it's tough. Light is powering up now. Now 3-3 is done. I'm not sure what the upgrades are for Rain, but I imagine they're probably pretty good. But I mean, this is kind of a scary moment because, you know, it's basically oh, hold on. He's going to attack in here. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, my God. This is a little bit crazy. He dives in with these shuttles and... well, here come the storms now. The storms might be what ends up making the difference. Some good size storms on those tanks, but his shuttles basically all die. His High Templars mostly die. His Arbiter dies. I don't know about that one.
I think Light's going to win this. I think that attack back there was just bad enough. Now, again, it's harder for Terran to push into someone with Storm. It's not easy for the Protoss to storm the turtled army of Terran, if that makes sense, just because, like, siege tanks have more range and vultures are fast, but it's really hard for the Terran to actually attack into the Psy Storm. You know.
Absolutely, and I think that's what makes it actually difficult for Light to win this map, even though I think he's playing one of the best TVPs I've seen here. You can't really attack. Like, the correct way to play against someone who's just constantly Psy-storming is to, like, take half the map. But you can't take half the map on Eclipse, you know? It's like you can kind of try to take this top left, but then they get both the bottom right bases.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it's super tricky. And look at Light. He's, like, trying to come down a ramp. He's trying to push in and take this over. And don't forget, Light has... I mean, Rain has 2 very healthy mining bases in that bottom right, as well as his 3rd and 4th still mining. So... Light here, he's like super saturated on his 3rd and 4th. He's not going to last forever. You see, he still isn't able to max out here, and we'll see if he's able to actually take another base.
These storms are insane, man.
Yeah.
It's funny to see, like, Protoss on the low ground, like, pushing a Terran with a bunch of siege tanks on the high ground and, like, taking tanks out and running back. By the way, the point of contention really has become this top left area here. Ooh, juicy EMP on those temps.
Oh, another nice one comes out as well. So it looks like he should be able to actually take this base. But it's a very hard base to defend, probably the hardest base to defend on the whole map. It's so far out of the way. You're using these tiny little bridges. Might end up being a good place for a recall later on. But I think, you know, Rain is trying to slow this as much as possible, but it might be time for him to actually seesaw elsewhere. Put some pressure on, you know, towards the natural or something.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to work. Terran's taking this. Tanks are just going to keep leapfrogging here. And, you know, it's by the way, recall not as strong when you have 3-3 tanks, because everything just gets blown up when they see it. And we're kind of seeing that here now. I mean, not a terrible idea, but again, there's just so many tanks here that it's like hard to make any headway.
Yeah, I'm not a super fan of that recall. I don't think that did anywhere near as much as the value of those units was. Like, Light's entire army is top left.
Yeah.
So I just don't see the value of doing anything there right now. Yes, it's Light's new base, but if you can cut a hole anywhere else right now, you can make him move most of those tanks out of there, and then suddenly that's an area that you can attack again.
I mean, it seems to me like if Light keeps his base at the top left, I think that the Protoss is boned. I don't think you can recover from this, even though there are these two bases down.
Do you think he can like just sit there, mine that, and just sit and win?
I think he can. I might be wrong.
Maybe.
I mean, again, I'm not that confident with this statement, and this is kind of this is a little bit tricky, but there's not convenient places to recall. He's got plenty of tanks. Rain's not really, you know, once you push the Protoss back up onto their high ground from the top left, you don't really have any angles of attack. It's one of the weird things about endgame on this map. If the Terran does get to grow, there's like just not any good spots to try to hit. You know, the Terran's third is very defendable. The natural and the main, it's hard to get like a recall into there, especially once the third base is taken. These two bases at the top left, I mean, there's just no way with this many 3-3 tanks that you can get close to that. And again, we never had carrier tech. We never had the kind of stuff that I think, you know, and I don't know how good that would be on this map anyways, but I'm just saying, like, with Templars alone, it's kind of hard to beat down the door.
For sure it is. Like, finishing people is the problem with Templar tech.
Yeah.
It's much better defensively, and you see Rain now attacking up once again. I got to be honest, the last, like, 4 attacks that we've seen, ever since he did that big attack where he lost the first Arbiter at the 4th, I think that attack and every attack afterwards was not good play from Rain. Like, I think he's kind of, like, throwing stuff away. It's like he's desperate to kill Light, and it's just, you're playing into Light's hands at that point. Like, he's spread, he's sieged, he's upgraded, he has mines and turrets. You know, like, I mean, attacking in like that is just not the way, and Light is being so efficient every time.
Yeah. And now we're going to see a little push down here at the bottom. By the way, the upper left base mined out. And I don't know what's going on to the base below that, but that's going to mine out soon.
Looks like Rain going to try to shove units in here once again, and, you know, it's like Light has so many units. Look at this ridiculous army. Light, actually, I think he makes more siege tanks than anyone I've ever seen. It's this is madness.
Well, you know what he's doing is he's just turtling and slowly accumulating more and more tanks and throwing vultures in to try to snipe stuff. But he has these tanks. I think there's more tanks than there are, like, zealots and dragoons right now. So
yeah.
I can't even believe it. It's like actually ridiculous how much is here.
It's like the most tanks I've ever seen in a game. It's almost like he's trolling or something. He's got like 36 tanks or something. It
looks like
doesn't
it's one of
even
these
make sense.
money maps, you know?
Yeah.
There's like 100
Except
SCVs
even there,
all
you wouldn't
mining
make this many
giant
tanks.
It's just, I think that he basically just kills them here. All you have to do to end this as well is to just push into where the gateways are. You can't rebuild massive infrastructure anywhere else on the map, believe it or not. There's almost no buildable terrain on the map.
Yeah, it's very little. And yeah, you see the people in the audience very excited here as Light marches forward with his just silly amount of siege tanks. Loses a few in there for sure. I would like to see Vultures and Goliaths rallying a little bit, but, you know, it's not like you have a big bank. His third is gone, his fourth is just about gone. He's on, like, 1 mining base. So Rain has actually still got bigger income, but his army is so much worse.
All right, another attack in over here. And, I mean, I just don't think there's enough for Rain, and the supplies really do tell it all. You know, yeah, that's it. GG. What a game, dude. Oh, my God. Talk about just a game of Light dragging it out, staying alive, taking blow after blow after blow until ultimately there really wasn't anything left that Rain could do, and Light had amassed so many tanks. He had this huge push down to the south and closed that out. Big win, too, because that's one of the maps we said Rain probably has to win on if he's going to take the series.
Well, it's certainly one of the ones where he's supposed to be favored. That's why he chose it as the first map. And I think he opened well. I think he was playing a pretty good game, but towards the end there was struggling to try to finish Light off with that Templar tech, which is just not a good finishing tech. So great defense there from Light. He didn't attack until the very end, and that's how you have to play that situation.
And it is a feature of the Templar style is that you take a lot of fights really well, but you can't finish them off. And if you're Light on a map like that, all you have to do is keep one more base alive, right? And, you know, it's something where you got to wonder, you know, did Rain really come here with the right tools for the end game? You know, you could have a carrier switch, you could have something else to try to go for, but, you know, ultimately, you know, once you get the third, then the fourth is next, then the fifth, and eventually this map is going to flip and Terran is going to have an advantage because Protoss doesn't have a whole bunch of other mains and islands and all this other stuff to try to expand to and drag it out.
Yeah, I think it was, this was an excellent game.
It was good.
If the whole finals is looking like this, we are in for a treat.
Yeah.
Very highly contested, a bit back and forth there. Absolutely loving it. And, I mean, this final push, man, when you see that many 3-3 tanks, I mean, if you don't have a max Protoss army there, you're never going to get up close.
Yeah, and I mean, he just built up the tank count so high to the point where it's like, yeah, man, I mean, what are you going to, how are you going to stop this? You can never let the Terran get that out of hand. But Light, man, I mean, think about this. That started with a gas steal into an all-in with Marines SCVs, and then it turned into that. I mean, it's almost easy to forget the early game back there because the ending was such a strong one.
Yeah, he killed a cannon with his SCVs, man. The probes killed his Marines. It was a wild opener. Oh, my God. All right. I think we might be going to a commercial break here.
Yeah, I think we're going to go to a break, guys. And when we return, we will have Game 2 of the finals. Rain versus Light. Right now, Light with a 1-0 lead.
결승전 주인공들의 인생 그래프로 저희가 지금 다시 한번 찾아왔습니다. 오늘 이재호, 정인종 선수 우선 축하드려요. 반갑습니다. 진짜 대단하죠. 네, 인생 그래프 어떤 프로그램이에요?
일단 선수들의 프로게이머 인생의 전반에 본인들이 생각하는 그 굴곡을 그래프로 한번 그려보면서 앞으로 본인들의 프로게이머 인생에 나아갈 방향까지 좀 예상을 해보는 그래프로 그려보는 시간을 좀 가져보도록 하겠습니다.
와, 저희가 지금 준비한 최첨단 장비가 좀 있습니다. 자, 그럼 전달해 주시고요.
최첨단.
예, 아나운서 시스템으로.
이거요?
예, 여기다 직접 하는 거예요.
그렇군요.
왜 최첨단이냐면 이게 만약에 실수하잖아요. 그럼 뒤로 하면 돼요. 양면 방식.
리버시블.
현경 씨는 자신의 그래프를 그린다고 하면은 언제가 지금 최전성기라고 생각하세요?
ASL 시즌5.
아, 시즌5.
네. 외모적으로도 제일 낫던 것 같고.
그때 당시에 정말 누나.
저는 시즌5 때가 진짜 확실히 전성기예요.
그때?
우리 캐스터님은 어떠세요?
저는요, 뭐 할 게 없고 이제 중계만 하다가 중간에 저는 하식스만 하시니까.
전 다 그렇습니다.
예. 그러면 이재호 선수부터 한번 분석 한번 들어가도록
볼까요?
할까요? 한번 보여주세요.
데뷔부터 시작합니다. 데뷔가 약간 이 영웅에서 약간 마이너스 아래로 내려가 있어요.
그렇죠. 그때 데뷔를 해서 서서히 좀 올라가는 시기였기 때문에 제가 그때 시작을 했고, 제가 게이머를 생활을 하면서 7년 생활을 하면서 이제 팀 우승도 해보고 약간 좋은 시절들을 많이 보냈어요.
호시절.
네.
아니 근데 좀 질문이 있는데
네네.
현역 때 너무 좀 작은 거 아니에요?
이 높이가 좀 작다.
제가 처음에 이제 입단했을 때 팀의 에이스.
네.
솔직히 연보성 이재호 있었거든요. 전 이재호.
이재호 있죠.
그럼 이제
연봉 안에 안 들어서. 이게 돈이 맞죠. 연봉 때문이죠.
뭐 연봉이 없을 순 없겠죠. 아무래도 또 프로라면 또 돈이 중요하기 때문에.
그럼 여기가 자산 그래프인가요 혹시?
그거랑 좀 비슷하게 하거든요.
맞죠.
어.
입대 이후에 왜냐면 군대 갔을 때 돈을 못 버니까.
아 이때는 진짜 저는 너무 힘들었어요. 군대 가면은 뭐 아무한테도 연락을 안 해야지 쥐죽은 듯이 갔다 오지 이 생각이었는데 딱 한 달 있으니까 너무 외롭더라고요.
외롭죠.
너무 외롭더라고요. 그래서 그때 휴가 나왔을 때 바로 연락처 다 찾아가지고 전화 한 번씩 다 하고.
그죠.
그때 전화를 제일 잘 받아줬던 선수 혹시 기억하나요?
김명훈 선수가 제일 잘 받았어요. 근데 이제 전화를 계속하니까 그만하라고. 화를 내더라고요.
화를 내가지고 전역하고 난 이후에 반등의 그 서막이 열렸잖아요.
그렇죠.
다시 ASL 예선을 뚫고 참가하면서 조금씩 성적이 올랐거든요. 그러면서 이렇게 막 확 올라갔던 것 같아요. 그 노력을 하면서.
그 다음부터는 뭐 승승장구 아닙니까?
그렇죠.
승승장구 하다가 이제 김명훈 선수한테 준우승 당하면서 약간 내리막길로
올라갔다가 또
여기도 킥이다, 여기도.
김명훈 선수가 굉장히 중요한 역할을 많이 했네요.
그래도 많이 안 떨어졌어요.
그러니까요.
위너스 리그 때보다 살짝 떨어진 거 말고는
왜냐면 이제 이때는 자산 규모가 또 조금은 쌓여가지고 심적 여유가 생겨서 그래서
살짝 여기서 더 가파르게 올라가도 되지 않을까요?
지금 현재
또 결혼하신 분들이 다 아실 텐데 또 돈이 많이 나가잖아요.
많이 나가죠.
다시 마이너스로 시작하는 기분이라서.
그래요?
0에서 다시 시작하는 기분.
결혼하고 나니까 좀 어때요? 좀 괜찮아요?
연인에서 부부가 되니까 좀 뭔가 더 애틋하고 좋은 게 있어가지고
책임감이 좀 있잖아요.
책임감도 있고
뭔가 내가 좀 더 잘해야 될 것 같고 그런 느낌들.
게이머들 또 그런 게 있잖아요. 운동선수든 연애를 하면은 실력이 떨어진다. 이런 것 때문에 더 책임감 갖고 또 하다 보니까 그게 또 좋게 나오는 것 같아서 기분이 너무 좋아요.
그럼 결혼 굉장히 잘하고 승승장구하겠는데 떨어지는 일이 없겠는데?
핫한 대로죠, 지금.
자, 그러면요. 이제 정윤종 선수의 인생 그래프 한번 가보도록 하겠습니다. 그림을 좀. 뭐야?
너무 심한데요, 이거?
이거죠.
아니, 바닥까지 갔다고? 한생 때 되게 좋았어요.
제가 또 그냥 파라콘 출신. 이제 IMF 때문에 너무 집안 사정이 어려워져가지고 나락을 갔죠.
나락 한번 가고.
나락을 갔는데 어떻게 하다 보니까 프로게이머가 됐어요. 솔직히 프로게이머가 안 됐으면은 그냥 여기서 여기에 당했어요.
수렁에서 끌어올려줬네요, 스타가.
프로게이머 됐을 때고요.
네, 근데 아직도 힘들어요.
좀 많이 힘드네.
가난해요.
지금 가난.
거기서 이제 MBC 게임을 들어갔어요.
근데
이제 거기서 잘려가지고. 근데 이때 당시에는
왜 잘린 거예요?
진짜 궁금해요.
왜 잘렸어요?
손해보였잖아요. 근데 제가 알기로는 그때 재호 형이 저 근데 많이 칭찬해줬어요. 근데 연습생인데 게임 좀 잘한다. 저한테 계속 말해줬어요.
기억하시나요?
저는 근데 막 기억에 남진 않아요.
기억에 남는데? 저는 아직도 기억나는 게 1군 숙소나 2군 숙소나 이렇게 나눠져 있었어요. MBC 때. 근데 재호 형은 이제 2군 숙소로 와서 2군들이랑 그래서 막 햄버거 저녁에 다 사주고 우리랑 그때 막 장기 두고 기억 안 나요?
그건 기억나죠.
막 장기 두고 막 이래서 햄버거 다 사주고
이별 선물인가요? 어차피 갈 생각하니까.
그건 아니고 저도 그런 시절을 겪었으니까.
근데 또 그렇게 하늘 같은 선배가 챙겨주면 기억에 남죠.
그래서 조금 올라갔어요.
기억이 남았어요. 저는.
그래서 가장 여기에 점에서 기억에 남는 사람은 이재호.
재호 형만 이제 좀 약간.
그럼 연보성은 어때요?
형은
잘리고 난 이후에 T1으로 갔잖아.
SK로 또 입단하게 됐죠. 이제 입단하면 좀 잘하다가 중간에 이제 프로리그에서 제가 한 8연패인가 했어요. 신인인데 그때 되게 힘들었어. 솔직히 울었어요. 8연패하고.
진짜.
그때 이제 또 고마운 게 이 김윤환 선수.
김윤환?
제 연패를 끊어줬어요. 김윤환이 형 잡고
요거는 제가 좀 써볼게요. 여기에서 나를 꺼내준 게 김윤환 선수였다.
수렁에서 지금 구해준 게 김윤환이다.
그렇죠. 그 이후부터는 프로게이머 생활은 이제 스타2까지 해가지고 계속 오르막이었던 것 같아요.
그렇게 스타2에서 좀 잘 나가다가 어느 순간 또 은퇴를 했잖아요.
네, 당시에 갑자기 아버지가 이제 몸이 편찮으셔가지고 간 이식 수술을 하게 됐는데 그러면서 군대를 안 가게 돼서 뭐 해야 될까 이제 원래 제가 좀 막 사는 사람이라 원래 흘러가는 대로 살아요.
흘러가는 대로?
BJ가 생각보다 재밌어 보이는 거예요.
그래서 그 BJ가 되고 난 이후에 다시 한번 상승세가 쭉 이어져. 그리고 여기는 우승했을 때.
우승하고 이제 그냥 평탄하게 온 것 같아요, 지금까지.
이거는 제가 볼 때
인정할 수 없나요?
지금 이미 너무 인생이 고점이기 때문에 이것만 유지하고 싶다는 의미에서 이게 일자로 간 것 같거든요, 뒤에가.
약간 이 정도라면 이제 사실
너무 높으니까. 지금 한창 현재 진행형인데 이거 일직선을 원한다.
할
이미
나위 없다.
고점이다라는 거죠.
이미 지금 현재 고점이다.
고점이라고 하면 뭐 고점일 수는 있는데 또 좀 살다 보니까
길게 가는 게 짱인 것 같아. 박상 캐스터님.
길게 가자. 진짜. 거야 20년, 20년째 인기를.
진짜 어떻게 사냐면요. 이끼처럼 거기 있으면 계속 붙어가지고 더 욕심 안 부리고 그냥 이거 재밌는 거 즐기면서 이렇게 가자.
롤모델.
와 진짜 이게.
아, 그러기에는 너무
이제
고점에서
시작이구나.
오래 하고 계시기 때문에.
저 인생 그래프 한번 그려봐요. 제가 처음
궁금해요,
들어갔을 때
정말.
내가 다 한 거 다 얘기해봐 그래 여기서. 그럼 과연 이번 결승전 대결 이영경 아나운서 지금 보실 때는 누가 이길 것 같아요? 와 이거 안면에서 대놓고 있는 그대로.
이런 거 솔직하게 해도 되죠.
이 운칠기삼이라는 말이 있지 않습니까? 지금 이 이재호 선수가 올해 결혼했죠.
결혼해서?
네. 여기는 지금 운이 막 이렇게 막 올라오고 있다. 근데 지금 정윤조 선수가 여자친구가 필요한 상황이잖아요. 그래서 그 운에서 조금 정윤종 선수가 핸디캡이 있지 않나라는 생각을 해보는데 또 정윤종 선수가 이걸 또 극복해낼 수도 있겠죠.
네.
우리 캐서님은 어떠세요?
저는요?
네.
저는 이번 대회 모르겠어요, 잘.
근데 보고
올라가는 이유가 있어요.
그쵸. 오래가는 이유가 여기
올라서.
이렇게 약간 올라오면 바로 커튼.
처음에 올라서 그 정도 잘하는 선수이기 때문에 과연 사랑이냐 아니면 싱글이냐 거기서 운명이 결정될 것 같다는 생각이 좀 듭니다. 정말 수고 많이 하셨고 과연 이 인생의 그래프대로 이어질 수 있는지 저희가 결승전 경기로 지켜보도록 하겠습니다. 고생하셨어요.
고맙습니다.
At last, we are back and we're ready to go into game number 2. And what a hell of a game for game number 1. I mean, a real war of attrition where Light was in a bad spot for pretty much the entire game until he used up every possible option that Rain had. He weathered storm after storm after storm, got that 5th base, powered up, got enough tanks, and then trampled Rain.
I tell you, it was an awesome game. Like, that game really got me going. I want to just, like, not just watch and cast this whole thing, but it makes me want to play some more StarCraft. I mean, that was just a killer game number 1. And they seemed very evenly matched. I think you saw there that as far as late game in the matchup goes, Light had a little bit of a better read on exactly what to do there. And Rain maybe got a little bit wasteful, but it can be a tough map because it does get small when both players are maxed out. So, that's the only map I think that's going to look anything like that anyways. Eclipse is so, even from Butter, the other 2-player map, it's so different.
Yeah. Again, I just can't get over the fact that that game started out with a gas steal and then an all-in from the Terran, and then we went into like every base on the map being taken and almost mined out. So, going into this again, Light has the lead, but this is a best of 7. That's a long road to travel before, you can really get out of this as a champion. So, I think we've got a long night ahead of us here tonight, coming into this. And Rain, it's funny, he played so well, but he just couldn't actually end it. And that is a feature of going for storm drops, is it's hard to get the killing blow off. You kind of whittle them down. But we're going to go to Allegro here for map number 2. Now, this is a 4-player map, more of a traditional StarCraft map, I guess you could say. Let's see how Rain performs here against Light this time around.
Season 13 전투 준비 완료. 알레그로에서 게임을 시작합니다.
In the top left, we have Rain. And in the bottom left, we have Light. All right, and Allegro, this was Light's first map choice, and no big surprise there either. Definitely the most comfortable map for Terran. The third base is not that far away. You can kind of make a spread it out siege line and defend everything, and then the 4th base is not that far from there. In fact, in some spawns, you're really close to your opponent. Like, for instance, I mean, even these spawns are not that far away. Like, if Rain wants to take his third base at that mineral base, it's not a good idea because light can push you so quickly.
Yeah, very good point. Would you like to see this map in the map rotation for next season?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the alternate version of Largo that we already have in there, where they just kind of shrunk the middle. And I'm not actually sold that this version is better than Largo. I think they both have positives and negatives. Like, maybe there's like a little bit more movement on this map because the center isn't just this giant wide open place. Here, there's like, okay, you can go through the center or around the center. So it makes me feel like this one's probably a little bit better than Largo. So yeah, I really wouldn't mind seeing Largo replaced with this for the next ladder season.
Yeah, me too. I'm watching a lot of games on this. I feel like I might like this map better than Largo, but I'm not sure.
I think we would all probably. It looks slightly more interesting, right?
Yeah. Largo's a little bit one-dimensional in the middle. This is going to be Nexus first, a very strong build, especially on 4-player maps. You're at less risk than if you go Nexus first on a map where they can scout you immediately. And, we saw when B-Suit did this, he went for the cross scout, and it seems like Rain has the same idea. You check the opposite location, the diagonal spawn, and confirm that they're not there, and that probably will dictate, if you see them and they are in cross spawns, then you make one gate, but if you realize they're next to you in one of the other two spots, you make 2 gateways to try to make sure that you can absorb the rush.
And it's a like really brainy build in that way, but if you do scout them last, obviously you have no idea what they're doing for a very long time. Light here is actually doing an end scout despite not going for a gas. So he's definitely going gas as expand, but he's doing it with the 2 depot variety, which is something that only a few Terrans really do. He's one of them. Now let's see if he tries to put pressure on with his Marines. There is a possibility that he'll pull like 3-4 SCVs and just rally Marines up here and try to put that pressure on.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit scary here. The probe does come in here and scout. We don't have that second gateway yet, so maybe my analysis was a little bit off here. Maybe he just wants to try to one-gate it. Oh, I guess, yeah, if you're going to go for a forge opening, this is the more modern of all the fast expand builds, is to basically just get a cannon up here so that you know that you're safe. Your core can be delayed a little bit, but you certainly can't die to Marines and SCVs.
And he actually cancels it when he gets in. The Marines were doing a good job of zoning him, but I think as soon as you saw the command center, you know that you're basically going to be okay. You can try to send 1 barracks Marines and get something done, but realistically, it doesn't really work out, right? Like if you get a factory, then you really do kind of need the cannon, or you're going to lose the Nexus.
So he sees the bunker is going to come up here. First factory is started, and the core is now finishing up here. And let's see what kind of game Rain wants to play. When you go fast expand, you're not really forced into any one kind of tech. You've just got a lot of momentum. So any endgame tech is acceptable here. You can go into Reaver, you can go into Arbiter quickly, Carriers is fine, you can take a third base. I guess the only thing that maybe isn't that good is DTs, but even then, I don't know.
Yeah, DTs would be very surprising, because you're just going to... Light's build is really good economy, too, so he's just going to have detection built into it. I mean, you could optimize away from that and just take the risk, especially when your SCV is kept alive for a really long time like this, so, but yeah, I would agree with you. I don't think that going into DT here would be all that good.
Puts a pylon over here. Now, this is probably to just spot for a drop ship. Whenever you're sharing the side of a map and your main is exposed, you just want to make sure that there's no cheeky drop ship play that's going to come in there. It's a very easy way for the Protoss to lose the game if you get Vulture dropped.
Now an SCV popping in and actually does see that second gas being taken, so that's a little bit more intel as well. And we still don't actually see... I mean, I imagine we'll see a Robo. There it is. Yeah. Robo goes down here for Rain. Pylon going down. This is something we saw from Rain in the previous game as well. Any base he thinks Light might want to take, he throws a pylon in.
I'm a big fan of this.
Nice scouting.
Yeah, I
like
do this as well. It just, it's actually hard for them to kill a pylon unless there's a tank there. And so, every Terran doesn't want to move out of his base too far with a tank, because that's the easiest way to lose the game, is the Dragoons run up and kill it. And so, it's keeping the Terran honest. And, it's not that big of a deal to lose a pylon later on.
This is kind of funny. It looks like Light wants to put on 2 factory pressure, which is very normal from here. But look at this. 4 goons and 2 zealots. Is he going to try to dive?
Yeah.
Like, the zealots coming down make me think he's going to use them to tank, and he's just going to dive in. And the SCV block is magnificent. Rain is in trouble, man. This is not a good move.
Okay, this is actually like the worst thing ever, because he's not going to lose anything. Oh my God. I would have rage quitted right there. I would have walked on stage and be like, sorry, everybody, you're going home, and so am I.
Yeah, no, that was...
that was insane.
It was like, I don't even know what he was thinking that he could do. Like, the SCV block, like, really, really screwed him up. If there were no SCVs there, he might be able to get good damage. But there were, and he still pulled the trigger and just got completely wrecked. Now he's already removed the pylon, so Rain doesn't really know what's going on. There could be a 3rd command center started, but instead it's a 4-fact, and he's already thrown away 6 units, killing literally nothing.
Yeah, this is like... I mean, honestly, this is like the worst possible thing that could have happened, is to try to, a tactic at the start of the game, and then it backfires, and literally nothing dies. Like, you're going to lose. This game is not built so that you can throw away that much stuff early on and not be punished, most likely with a loss. The only thing I think that could let Rain recuperate here is if he gets a Reaver out and maybe gets some, like, insane shots to connect on all the tanks,
He needs a really good couple Scarabs. Like, he needs to blow up all the Marines and SCV, and then he needs to, like, kill a couple tanks. And if he can do all that, maybe. But yeah, the bunker is coming up. He's spreading, he's sieging, he's laying some mines down. This seems impossible to lose for Light.
Yeah, I mean, the SCV block was it was so good that, what are you going to do? Okay, here's the Reaver. Oh, good pick up there. Wow.
God.
Oof. So he's trying to put this in between the siege tank shots, but it seems like the siege tank shots are not all in unison, so you can't really put the Reaver on the ground. And I mean, look, I think this is just a matter of time.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen games like this before. This is something that, like, every Protoss player in the world has kind of been through, is a bungled opening into the tank push just comes and ends the game.
Well, yeah, if you lose 6 units doing absolutely 0 with it...
Yeah, you literally don't kill anything. I don't even think you killed the bunker.
I mean, if you have 2 more Zealots and 4 more Goons and this comes, you kill it. Like, Light wouldn't even do this push right now. He would pressure with it, you'd never get up here and siege and build a bunker and stuff. So, Rain really doing himself a bit of a disservice with that early attack.
Yeah.
Light going in for the kill right now, laying these offensive mines, sieging up the Nexus. The counter drop is coming, but there's already turrets. Yeah, he's not going to get it. That should be GG.
Whoa, one of the worst performances in the entire ASL, if not the actual worst game we've had. What a disaster. What a train wreck. Rain completely fell apart. He tried some fancy pants tactics there, and then he committed on the bunker, and then he tried to commit onto the tank, and then he tried again to commit on the tank, and nothing was killed. And guys, that was not the way that Light had even planned to win that. I mean, he just went, oh my God, you just lost all your stuff. I guess I can attack you now. I guess I'm halfway to beat an ASL champion.
Yeah, that's, I mean, honestly, he should have typed LOL and taken the warning.
Yeah.
Because that was bad, and Rain knows it, and you can see he's definitely unhappy with himself.
The only thing that would have been better is if Rain just disconnected.
Yeah,
it's
a true ladder game at that point.
Like, we just go to Rain, he's just holding an Ethernet cable in his hand. Like,
totally.
Oh my God. Okay, I mean, guys, look, I know that Rain has got nerves of steel, but I will tell you something. That is a humiliating loss, and I don't care how much stage experience you have. I mean, you are feeling blood in your face in that moment. That's rough.
Yeah. I'm really hoping that Rain can kind of pull it together. Light starting out with a 2-0 advantage is pretty big. He won the hardest map, and then he just like plowed through on his first map choice. So not looking super good for Rain, but I think if he can just kind of collect himself and being I mean, this guy has so many championships at this point between StarCraft 1 and StarCraft 2. I think that he will be able to collect himself. I think there's still a shot here for him, absolutely.
You see that? The mouse pad is taped down.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You don't tape your mouse pad down?
No, I mean, I've got one of these giant mouse pads that just sits on my table and never moves around.
The giant ones you don't need to, but if you have a small one, you actually should tape it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You have a little small mouse pad?
I use a small one when I travel, and I got a big one on my desk, so I don't tape the big one down.
You're a real gamer, dude. That was the right answer.
You better. That's the right answer right there.
So, I don't know if we're going to go to commercial. That was so short.
No, I think we'll be jumping in the next game probably.
Yeah, a lot of times if the game is like that short, they don't want to bother running another ad. Okay, so we're not going to go to commercial. Revolver is going to be the next game, and dude, Ray needs to win here, or it is going to be unimaginable that he's going to recover. I mean, with how well Light played in Game 1, and by the way, kudos to Light in Game 2, how well he controlled that, okay? It wasn't just that Rain messed up, it's that Light parried the attack perfectly. But if Rain can't win here, I don't think he can win in this ASL Finals at all. So good luck to him. We're ready to go into Game 3.
Tell them the story, tell them the truth as it pleases to me. Let it sink in for you.
리볼버 SE에서 게임을 시작합니다.
So in the bottom left, we have Rain. And in the top left, we have Light. This map, very popular for Nexus First. Nexus First, of course, just very popular in and of itself right now, but this is one of the easiest maps to hold it on.
Yeah, we'll see if Rain goes for that. Again, you know, a very unwarranted situation for Rain. I think we've all been there where, you know, in any matchup, by the way, I mean, you'll see these moments where you think you can make this work, and you actually like screw up the entire game because you traded, or you didn't even trade at all. You just lost all your stuff. Man, what a haunting game that has to be for Rain now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he's gotten it out of his mind, right? Like you're not like a, you know, 4-time Premier League champion, and you know, let that really bother you that much. Yeah, he screwed up. He made some bad choices there. Time to wash that away and play your best game here on Revolver, because Revolver, it's a good map for PvT. You know, like you have all these kind of high ground places. It's hard for Terran to really get any harassment done. You know, carriers can be very good here. Arbiters can be good here as well. You know, you have a lot of flexibility on how you want to play. Those speed storm drops, great as well. Like, there's a lot of areas behind mineral patches here that you can go in and try to harass.
Real quick here, guys, before this game picks up too much, we just want to say to everybody on Patreon, thank you so much for your support. If you've been watching these seasons of ASL and you're loving it and you like our casting and you want to support us and the people that are helping to produce this part of the show, you can go to patreon.com/ASL English. Without your guys' support, we just wouldn't be able to do this. So we thank you guys and we love you guys, and $10, $5 a month really goes a long way for us. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. It's like this season has been just amazing, and like the shape that the Korean Brood War scene is in is so fantastic right now. Having Jaedong, Bisu, and Rain all come back. You know, eventually Flash is going to be out of the military too. You have all the rising stars that are doing really well. I mean, the game is super popular out here right now, so we have a lot of good players that are coming up. So I think it's a very bright future for Brood War, and a lot of that is thanks to you guys.
Yeah, and we appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, in Korea, the Korean numbers are very good for ASL, so I think we're going to have many, many more years of this to come.
Taking a look at this game, it looks like it is just a gateway nexus from Rain, right? So Gonna like pressure with the Zealot, but just go ahead into his Nexus very, very quickly. Light, on the other hand, with the factory, it looks like it's going to be a factory expansion. You can bust this, or you can attempt to bust this with Marine, SCV, Vulture. But again, the map itself is a little bit difficult for that, so you may just skip it and take an expansion.
So the SCV is going to come down here and get a little peek into this base. You know, Rain having 3 extremely different openers in each of these games. He's got a real wide range of different ways to play this. And here come the Marines now in the SCV. Is he actually going to rush on this?
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He's going for it, man. As soon as you see that 4th Marine, it's like, it's written in stone. You gotta go. Now, he's bringing a lot of SCVs. I believe that might be 9 or 10 instead of 8.
Yeah.
And here we go. He starts the bunker. That pulls the Zealot back from that little ramp. Rain has positioned a probe near some other mineral patches so that he can drill here as well. I don't know if he's going to end up trying to save it. No. Looks like he's going to give up the Nexus, which seems to be the right choice.
He's just going to go all the way up.
Oh, he's crazy.
This is insane.
I don't know if that's going to work.
Yeah, I thought he was just going to send the SCVs back and expand, but he's going to push and make a bunker up here. I don't know, man. The Dragoon's pretty far back. It's not helping, with this fight, really.
Oh, but here's the thing. If you end up coming up the ramp and losing your Marines, then the natural Nexus won't end up dying. So that's what I'm worried about here, but he's killing a lot of probes, and he does have that bunker up. If he can get up here and get into the bunker, it's going to be very good.
So he gets up there, and this means both the gateways are under threat. More Marines are going to come down here now. Now, the Protoss can win this if you get Dragoon range to finish. But you need to get enough Dragoons out with the Dragoon range, and that's why keeping the gateway up is so important. The second Goon pops out, he's going to try to push him down into the wedge behind the minerals.
Oh my god. Vultures are actually picking off a lot of probes here. Rain's economy being just butchered right now. How many probes does he even have left? It's so few. 6, 5, 4. Oh my god. He can actually just kill everything. There's not going to be any probes left.
That's it. GG. What? Oh my god. What? Things are happening too fast, guys. I can't do this.
Yeah. That first game was such a slugfest. It was such a great display of skill on both sides, and now suddenly we have Light just running away with it. Rain has got to stabilize.
Can we pump the brakes a little bit here? It was like 20 minutes ago this series was 1-0, now it's 3-0. Rain not recovering. I have never seen a finals get out of control this quickly for one side. Now, I mean, look, Rain, it's not over, guys. He can win 4 games in a row and take this, but it's hard to imagine a world where anybody beats Light 4 times in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to reverse sweep this guy, right? Like, Light, we've been waiting for him to win an ASL. He definitely is one of the players on the short list where you're like, this guy really deserves one. Is that going to be here tonight? It definitely looks that way. But I tell you what, I really want Rain to battle back. I want to see him take some maps here and make it close.
So this was kind of surprising. I think a lot of people play this as in they just try to hang on to the high ground and give up the Nexus, but Light wanted to go straight for the jugular and end this. And it's funny because, like, it almost looked like he was going to hang on, like Rain was going to survive this, but once he got enough vultures there to kill all those probes at the very end, it's like, yeah, you're never going to recover from this.
I wonder if he should have focused on killing the SCVs at the top of the ramp rather than send the probes down to fight the Marines. I feel like that's where it may have gone very wrong for him. Not that he was going to win if he did it the other way, but I think if you reduce that SCV count a little bit more efficiently, keep your probes alive, you're going to have a bit more potential to just, use your Dragoon range to kill the bunker, to push everything back, maybe reclaim the bottom. But either way, it was some killer instinct there from Light, some great micro from him, and Rain does not seem to be on top of things like he was in Game 1.
Yeah, well, I mean, Game 1, let's remember, he was like very close to actually winning at the start of Game 1, and, you know, it was Light, you know, fighting back and kind of hanging on for dear life. And then it's like every game is getting twice as short as the one before.
Know, yeah.
And I mean, imagine what's going on in Rain's head right now. I mean, this was supposed to be super close. After Game 1, it looked like it was going to be extremely long and dramatic. And these are some of the shortest games in the entire ASL. Game 2, a complete and total disaster. And then Game 3, Lights all in, shuts Rain down.
It was well done, and Lights, I mean, he's got to be feeling pretty confident. I think we're going to jump to a quick commercial break, guys. And when we come back, we'll see if Light is going to be able to finish Rain off.
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지. 오늘이 모여 새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
힘들어도
어려워도 이렇게 멈추면 내가 아니지.
오늘이 모여
새로운 날을 만든다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫6.
아침은 라떼, 홀리 점심은 라떼, 홀리 저녁엔 라떼, 홀리 풍부하게 달콤하게 라떼 홀리. 달달한 충전이 필요할 땐 칸타타 라떼 홀리.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for waiting. Game 4 is ready. Man, I hope this isn't a 4-0, dude.
Oh, me too. After Game 1, I was like, this is going to be the greatest finals of all time. After Games 2 and 3, Tasteless, I'm feeling really sad. I'm hoping that Light doesn't just Hulk smash him here on Vermeer. I want to see something better here out of Rain. I mean, that last game, okay, maybe you missed Micro a little bit, and Light has some killer instinct. He brought a lot of SCVs with him, and he was really going for the kill. But yeah, Game 2, I guess, is the real head shaker, right? That's where the pain really. That's the one that Rain is always going to look back on and be like, oh, you know. That's,
oh yeah.
Oof.
You know, while we've got this downtime, guys, we just want to say one more time, thank you everybody for supporting us on Patreon. It's patreon.com/ASL English. This is the new era, man. You stream, people support you there. Now you could support an esports cast like ours through a Patreon, and we love you guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And we're really looking forward to everything else that's coming up this year as well.
Right.
The next ASL season is going to be even better than this one, I bet you, because everyone's going to be in even better shape, because StarCraft 1 is killing it out here right now.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's really active. They've all like self-organized. I say it like they're like colonies of bacteria or something.
They become self-aware.
Yeah, they've self-organized into little groups, little teams where they play together and train other players to be better. It's crazy. But everything's going very well out here in Korea for Brood War, and you can see that reflected in the skill. Like these games, well, the last two weren't great, but overall this season has been out of control.
나와주시죠. 자, 먼저 이재호 선수를 응원하기 위해 현장을 찾아주신 시조세님, 그리고 또 정윤정 선수를 응원하기 위해 현장을 찾아주신 이만희님 함께하겠습니다. 안녕하세요.
네, 안녕하세요.
네, 다니님 안녕하세요. 자, 현재 두 선수의 상황이 굉장히 많이 다릅니다. 일단 두 선수의 상황을 좀 이야기하기 전에 현장의 열기가 워낙 뜨겁습니다. 또 스타1, 이 열기를 현장에서 느끼니까 두 분 좀 감회가 남다르실 것 같은데요. 시조사님은 어떠신가요?
사실 저도 ASL 예전부터 좀 팬이어가지고 한번 와봤었는데 그때보다 지금 더 관중석들이 많이 차있고 되게 재밌네요.
네. 지금 이 의상에서도 열기가 느껴집니다.
네, 맞습니다.
현장이 후끈한데 우리 단익님은 좀 현장에서 이스타1의 관람객 분들의 열기를 좀 느껴보니까 어떤가요?
제가 ASL 이렇게 직접 관람 온 게 또 처음인데 또 막상 이렇게 사람들이 많이 응원해주고 하는 거 보니까 저도 약간 심장이 뜨거워지는 느낌입니다.
선수 못지않게 긴장된 마음으로 아마 오늘 결승전 경기 두 분도 지켜보고 계실 것 같습니다. 일단 시조새님은 굉장히 기분이 좋을 것 같아요. 우리 대학의 명예를 걸고 이재호 선수가 지금 또 굉장히 활약해주고 있는데 어떻게 좀 지켜보고 계신가요?
저는 진짜 이게 경기가 너무 재밌어가지고 너무 빨리 끝나고 해가지고 되게 재밌고 일단 여유가 생겼어요. 3대0으로 이기고 있어가지고 여유가 되게 생기고 또 대학대전 원래 염석대랑 잡았거든요. 잡히기 전에 조금 되게
기선제압을 할 수 있는
한 것 같아가지고 기분 좋습니다.
아직 하지만 경기가 끝난 건 아닙니다. 단위님께서는 지금 정윤종 선수에게 가장 필요한 거 어떤 거라고 생각하실까요?
그냥 저도 되니까 후회만 없이 했으면 좋겠습니다. 진짜 부담 없이.
이 동료의 정말 진심 어린 응원이 정윤종 선수에게 다 닿을 것 같은데 정윤종 선수에게 응원의 한마디를 들리도록 좀 남겨주시면 좋을 것 같아요.
윤종 오빠 부담 가지지 말고 화이팅!
약간 눈물이 글썽이신 것 같아요. 정윤종 선수 응원하는 마음이 저한테까지 느껴지는데 시조사님께도 좀 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 지금 이 순간 이재호 선수에게 필요한 게 당근일까요? 채찍일까요?
채찍입니다. 마지막 한 걸음은 채찍으로 가야 될 것 같습니다.
역시 이사장님 냉정하시네요. 그럼
네,
채찍의
냉정.
한마디 남겨주시죠.
총장님, 저희 명예를 걸고 화이팅!
두 선수를 응원하는 두 분의 마음 잘 들어봤습니다. 현장에서 끝까지 함께 즐겨주시기 바랍니다. 인터뷰
감사합니다.
고맙습니다.
네, 감사합니다.
고맙습니다.
감사합니다.
이재호 선수의 기선제압을 응원하는 분들 그리고 정윤종 선수의 이 위기를 기회로 바꾸기 위해 응원하는 분들 이 두 분들의 상반된 마음이 느껴지는 인터뷰였는데요. 과연 어떤 선수가 오늘의 주인공이 될 수 있을지 네 번째 세트 범위어로 떠나보시죠.
We're back, guys, and I'm a little worried for Rain. You can see it on the faces in the audience as well.
Yeah.
You know who's cheering for who here. I mean, it's not over till it's over, but man, so quickly things have fallen apart here for Rain. And now, you know, he's on his last life. If he drops a single game, it's over. He's got to pull it together, and he's got to power through 4 games versus Light to take this. I think the best thing you could do at a moment like this is take it 1 game at a time.
Yeah, you can't really plan too much further ahead than that. And honestly, I want to see him make it into a macro game. I think he played well on Eclipse, but the map closes up late game when the Terran maxes out. If he can bring a game to the late game, playing as well macro-wise and tactically as he was in Game 1 on Eclipse on a big map like Vermeer, I think that's going to be a dynamite game. But he needs to get there. He needs to not suicide into a bunker. You know, he needs to not just die to an SCV drilled attack on his Nexus first. I'm hoping he can do it.
Yeah, I'm hoping this finals could start to get a little bit closer, but right now Rain has really put himself in peril. You got to think there aren't that many ASLs a year, and it's really hard to ever get into a finals again, even for Rain, okay? Like, you know, he's gone this far,
ASL Season
and it could all fall apart if he doesn't pull it back right now.
As it bleeds into me that it's seeking for you. Tell them the story, tell them the truth. As it bleeds into me that it's seeking for you.
범위어에서 게임을 시작합니다.
In the bottom right, we have Rain. And the bottom left, we have Light. Light has to be feeling just fantastic. This was his second map pick. He's up 3-0. It's just kind of a big macro map, which You know, he's second to none as far as big macro games go.
Yeah, I mean, this is a huge map. We could have a pretty long and drawn-out game. The walls are closing in for Rain right now. You know, this is... it's tough when you lose this many games as fast because you can feel pressure to not take risks, you know, because you can end up getting pressured into basically playing like a very standard way of a standard game overall because you're just afraid if, you know, you try to do a cheese, it would backfire. You know, I think that game too, man, he's going to have to kind of move past that and basically learn to forget that game because, you know, it's such a stark difference from the first, the last two games we had versus the first one we started today out in.
Yeah. Well, if he can just get into that again, like I was talking about before, right? Like if he can get into a big macro game, this map is so large, it's really hard for Terran to go across the map and kill you or anything. I could see Rain really, you know, putting up a huge fight against Light. But we got to make it there first. Another Nexus first. It's not cross-spawn here, so it's very bustable. And we've already seen that Light is very willing to go right up your ramp and try to kill you.
Yeah, and he's okay with, like, pulling what looks like even 9 SCVs at a time, which I think some players might say is too much, but, I mean, he's clearly ready to end it. And I'll tell you, man, I mean, this game already has a lot of similarities to Game 3. I mean, Terran is neighbors with the Protoss. The SCV is going to scout the Nexus immediately.
Yeah.
This is...
Best case scenario. Best case.
Yeah.
But look at the pylon. See the pylon? That's a cannon pylon right there.
It for sure is. But he is going to end up scouting him last anyways. He's actually sending a second probe to scout. Am I seeing this correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you certainly are seeing that correctly. Now, Light actually cut one SCV to get the factory out quickly without stopping Marine production. So 100% he's going for a bust here.
Okay.
But, like, I see the gas coming up. Let's see. Okay, the probe is going to run right by this Marine. Up the ramp, sees another Marine, sees the factory. You have to assume a bust here. I want to see him throw down that forge.
I think he needs that forge.
He puts SCVs back on gas as the probe comes in. That's weird. That's like a mind game.
What are your thoughts on Terran doing a siege mode push?
Oh, I don't think it's any good at all, to be honest.
I actually just don't know. Like, I wonder if, like, maybe that's a possible way to approach this, to just get a tank out, because everything is delayed because of the forge and the cannon, right? I mean, the cybernetics core just started.
I mean, you might be right. That might be what it is. Like, he started mining gas, so, like, I could definitely see that being the case. But I mean, I've never seen it. It seems to me like there will be holes in it, but he's got a lot of Marines here.
No, I think that's the play.
I think you're right. I think it's a siege push.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, this is new.
Well, it's happened to me personally, and it's actually hard to stop. They basically... You know, like, pre-Brood War, there was, like, this way that Terran would play against every race where they just make a bunker, like, right outside your natural, and then they just make tanks and just, like, you know, siege up and just slowly push in there and kill you. You can basically do that here. So
I'm a bit worried, though. Like, yeah, maybe he just kills him with this. I've never seen this. And now the tank comes out. He sees the tank. Rain did go into 3 gates. He only has 1 cannon. When range is done, if he has 4 goons, I can see the tank just exploding, you know? And if you killed 1 tank, I think you're going to be all right.
You know,
I'm excited, though, Tastosis. Is this going to be a new way to bust a quick Nexus?
I think it could be. By the way, that probe that went up to the ramp, sometimes you can put a probe there and block the second tank from coming across the map. They're not looking. It's just like one of these kind of cheeky ways to play. And Rain's going to go for it, man. He's just going to go for a dive, and this is before the bunker's done. And, I mean, this is actually pretty bad for Light here.
Oh, yeah. He's actually doing a pretty darn good job. He loses a few probes, but that's completely fine. He's actually reducing the Marine count significantly. But more Marines are coming. Another tank comes up, so he runs the goons back. And suddenly we have 4 goons. When range is done, ooh, I don't know about this though. Oh, he's getting crazy. He gets up right in between those siege tanks. Oh, and he gets one. Looks like the second one might be gotten as well. Yes, it is. And okay, well,
this is sick.
I'm happy that Rain looks like he's going to be able to hold this and probably win this game, but I don't know. Like, does Light still have a chance if he keeps rallying?
I mean, the problem is
so,
that
right?
there's so many SCVs that have been pulled. It's kind of now or never, right? The thing is, it's one tank coming out at a time. It's not like this is a 2-factory, tank push here. So he can just dive on the tanks, and I think over time he can basically overpower the bunker as well. Yeah, I mean, Rain
the bunker's
holds
gone now. That's it. That's it. Like, that should be game.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I will say this. I think that, honestly, this is really coming down to the fact that Rain dove in before the bunker was done. I think this rush would have killed it had the bunker had time to finish. But Rain just knew to make the 3 zealots. Another very smart move by him, and kind of hit this pretty hard. And I mean, the game hasn't ended, but I will tell you, no Terran wants to play from this position.
It's pretty bad. He's on 1 factory siege mode against, a Nexus first that went into 3 gates. So map control is Rain's forevermore. It's going to be a long time before Light gets any say as to what happens in this game. He's going to have to just defend. Phase 2. Here we go.
Okay, this is so cool that Light's doing this. So, basically, from the Protoss' perspective, once you swat down this attack, the one that we just saw happen with the siege tanks, you know that, like, okay, this game is basically over. All I have to do is grow in a healthy fashion, get my late game tech, make a bunch of gates, fill in my supply with enough probes, and it's going to be a cakewalk of an endgame. But in that process, that means you're going to be taking a 3rd Nexus and powering up. If Terran goes for bio, there is a soft spot in the tech with that. There is.
If Rain just doesn't go Reaver, for instance, like it looks like he's going Observer, but he might go Reaver afterwards. But with 4 or 5 tanks with siege mode plus a bunch of Marines with medics and stim and range will kill about Infinity Dragoons. But if he goes Reaver though, you need 1 good Scarab and you win.
Yeah. The thing is, a lot of Protosses will skip Reaver in this moment because they don't feel like they need to apply any pressure on it to the mid game. And honestly, guys, Rain can still lose this. This is one of these things that, like, I think for a lot of Protoss players, it can be easy to forget that this can come.
Yeah.
But, if it's just Dragoons and a bunch of tanks and stim Marines and medics, like, I mean, he might just die. And I think Rain is playing this in such a straightforward fashion. This is getting a little bit scary, man. Oh, he sees.
Ooh, okay, so now he knows exactly what's going on. Light knows that he knows. So I think this is where you push really, really quickly as Light. Now, all the Dragoons coming across. It looks like he wants to take this high ground to have that little bit of an advantage. Nice scan there to get rid of the Observer. Light leapfrogging forward as quickly as he can. Oh, Rain here getting pushed off of that high ground. He actually has a lot of goons going way around, and he is going up to Reaver.
Yeah, in the Reaver tech, I mean, ideally he would have had that earlier. He is going to send these Dragoons outside the natural here to basically block off reinforcements, and that'll contain this Terran push for the time being. And basically he wants to try to, slowly stifle progression from this. But I don't know, man. I mean, the tanks are going to have to shoot down the cannons here. Dragoons, again, they can beat Medic Marine, but it's hard for them to sustain a fight with siege tanks in the background shelling them. I think the Light's just going to win this, man.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. Now, once the bunkers are out, the Reavers really don't have the same power that they had before. You can hit the Marine Medic, but not when there's bunkers there. And Like, look at the amount of Marines actually coming across the map. Light doesn't even have, like, Rain has way more supply, but I don't think any of it matters because his army isn't good against what he has here.
There's just too many tanks. The Dragoons are going to win that fight. That goes to show you how good Dragoons are on high ground in this situation. Is there a Reaver in here? I'm not so sure. There is. There is.
But even if he blows up these front 3 tanks, he doesn't even get him. He gets 2 and damages another. A flank comes in. Tastosis, I think we're done the finals, man. The Reaver and Shuttle go down. Light with plenty of units left over. And it looks like a very disappointing finals here for Rain.
Yeah, I think kind of disappointing for everybody, man. It's not even close. I mean, even the game that Light looked like he was going to lose, he just, had a very sneaky play and was able to come back. These Marines can stim and come down here and kill the probes. The Nexus is being shelled as we speak, so there's going to be a clock on that. A new Reaver's out. And if this Reaver, combined with the ground forces that are already available here for Rain, if they can't win this fight, this game's over. Another bunker going to be put down here. Oh my god.
Oh, Slow Zealots walking in. We'll see if they have any chance here. Reaver coming up right now, and oh, that's an excellent Scarab.
There's
but
just too
still
much.
The bunkers are holding. Yeah, more tanks coming up as well.
That's
and
it.
That's
GG.
it. GG.
Man.
Light. Wow.
Most one-sided ASL literally ever.
Well, that is the inevitability that we were talking about, man. If you cannot screw with Light, he gets so strong. Even when he was behind, he fought back brilliantly. And Light is finally an ASL champion.
That is crazy. Congratulations to Light. He did it, man. Wow. I mean, what an ending, too. Failed siege tank push into succeeded siege tank and medic marine push. Guys, we're going to be going to an interview now with Light and seeing how he's feeling. He has done it. He is the champion of ASL Season 13, overcoming Rain 4-0.
ASL 시즌 13 드디어 우승을 차지했습니다. 테란의 빛 이재호. 자, 이쪽은 자리해 주시고요. 오늘 보여준 경기력 진짜 이재호 선수의 강력함을 뽐낼 수 있는 정말 좋은 기회였습니다. 오늘 경기 4대0 승부를 좀 기록하면서요, 압승을 거뒀습니다. 그리고 그 오랫동안 도전 끝에 드디어 이재호 선수가 ASL 우승자라는 칭호를 얻게 됐습니다. 감동스러운 자리일 텐데요. 우승을 차지했습니다. 소감 한번 들어보도록 하겠습니다.
일단 오늘 좀 쉽지 않은 승부가 될 거라고 예상하고 왔는데 너무나도 좀 쉽게 풀려가지고 좀 당황스럽거든요. 아직 좀 우승한 게 좀 실감이 안 나고 좀 더 즐겨야 될 것 같아요. 아직까지 좀 즐기지 못하는 것 같아서 너무 기분 좋습니다.
정말 힘든 순간이었고, 이재호 선수 하면은 인내 아이콘, 거기다가 노력의 아이콘, 정말 여러 차례 도전했는데 ASL 내에서는 우승을 차지하기 정말 어려웠습니다. 이 쟁쟁한 선수들을 이번 시즌에 꺾어내고 진정한 우승자로서 자리하게 됐는데, 수많은 팬분들 앞에서 자신의 그 실력, 능력을 오늘 제대로 보여줬습니다. 어떠세요? 감회가 좀 새로울 것 같은데요.
일단 좀 아직 실감이 잘 안 나요. 우승을 했다는 것 자체가. 제가 2년 전에 그 김명호 선수랑 결승전에서 했을 때가 제 게이머 인생에서 마지막 전성기였다고 생각을 했었는데, 다시 2년 뒤에 결승전을 와가지고 우승까지 하는 거를 제가 경험을 하니까 참 그동안 제가 2년 동안 도전을 했던 게 헛된 게 아니라는 생각이 들었고, 오늘 그 결실을 맺게 돼서 정말 기분 좋습니다.
정말 이재호 선수를 데뷔 때부터 좀 지켜보는데 정말 묵묵히 하나하나 최선을 다하면서 역시 노력 또한 재능이다라는 걸 깨닫게 해준 선수가 이재호 선수입니다. 그동안 오는 길이 좀 쉽지 않았을 텐데요. 지금 이 자리, 또 이재호 선수가 최근에 결혼하고 난 이후에 더욱더 강해졌다는 평가가 좀 있습니다. 오늘 거의 무결점 완벽한 모습을 경기 내에 선보였거든요. 지금까지 이 자리에 서게 될 때까지 도움을 준 분들이 많이 계실 거고, 그리고 바로 옆에서 응원해 주신 분들 많이 계실 텐데요. 그분들에게 감사 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
일단 오늘 그 경기를 제가 한 거의 3일 정도 준비를 했는데, 일단 연습 도와준 그 친구들 먼저 고맙다는 말 표현을 하고 싶어요. 일단 김범수 선수, 그 다음에 장윤철 선수, 변현재 선수, 오재욱 선수가 좀 많이 도와줘서 정말 큰 힘이 됐고, 그리고 그 제가 준비하면서 그 아프리카에서 또 대학판을 또 같이 하고 있잖아요. 스타. 거기서 이번에 그 같은 JSA 대학 친구들하고 무인도를 갔다 왔어요. 무인도에서 제가 처음 지내봤는데 하룻밤을 지내고 왔는데 너무 힘들더라고요. 근데 그때 정말 값진 경험을 하고 나니까 준비하면서 뭔가 이것보다 더 힘든 건 없겠다 싶어가지고 정말 큰 힘이 됐고, 그리고 옆에서 또 제가 좀 준비하는데 좀 많이 예민했는데 저를 또 지지해주고 도와준 또 제 와이프인 새별이에게 또 고맙다는 말 하고 싶습니다.
야, 우승 트로피를 아직 신혼여행도 못 갔는데 결혼 선물로 우승 트로피를 받아가게 됐습니다. 자, 그럼 이제 앞으로 이재호 선수의 새로운 도전일 텐데요. 팬 여러분께 어떤 선수 앞으로 될 건지 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
지금처럼 제가 또 꾸준히 노력해서 이 스타리그가 계속 있는 한 저도 열심히 노력해가지고 지금처럼 계속 우승하는 모습도 보여드리고 싶습니다. 오늘도 변함없이 응원해주신 제 팬분들께 너무너무 감사드리고, 오늘 현장에 와주신 많은 팬분들께도 감사하다는 말 전하고 싶습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 다시 한번 축하 말씀드리고요. 이제 시상식을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 선수분께서는 잠시 대기석으로 자리해 주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 이 선수들의 노력, ASL 우승하는 게 정말 이렇게 힘들구나를 매번 결승전마다 뼈저리게 느끼고 있습니다. 데뷔 이후에 우승 트로피를 들어올리기 위해서 선수들은 정말 많은 노력을 하고 있습니다. 다시 한번 최선을 다해준 선수분들께 깊은 감사의 말씀 드리면서요, 지금부터 준우승 시상을 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 나의 레벨은 다르다, 어나더 레벨 핫식스와 함께하는 ASL 시즌13 시상자분을 소개하도록 하겠습니다. 아프리카TV e스포츠 앤 게임 콘텐츠 사업부문의 최정원 부문장님께서 수고를 해주시겠습니다. 큰 박수로 환영해 주십시오. 나의 레벨은 다르다, 어나더 레벨 핫식스와 함께한 ASL 시즌13 천일 만에 돌아와서 강력한 포스를 보여주면서 이번 시즌 결승에 올라온 또 다른 주인공입니다. 준우승 선수를 불러보겠습니다. 레인 정윤종! 돌아온 정윤종 선수의 그 길, 정말 많은 환호와 응원을 받으면서 이번 결승전 무대에 올라왔습니다. 마지막까지 최선을 다하는 모습을 보여주면서 준우승을 차지하게 된 정윤종 선수에게는 상금 1,000만 원이 주어지겠습니다. 다시 한번 축하드리고요. 이번 시즌에 우승 트로피는 들어오지 못했습니다. 그래도 다음 시즌 시드권자로 다음 시즌에 정윤종 선수가 다시 한번 강력한 모습을 보여주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 그리고 시상을 도와주신 최정원 부문장님께도 다시 한번 큰 박수로 부탁드리겠습니다. 고맙습니다. 이어서 우승자 시상이 있겠습니다. 이번 우승자 시상에는 항상 선수들의 열정에 응원의 메시지를 보내주시고 이렇게 ASL이 성황리에 이어질 수 있도록 많은 도움을 주신 분이시죠. 아프리카TV 정찬용 대표이사님을 뜨거운 박수로 무대로 모시겠습니다. 항상 ASL이 정말 많은 분들의 사랑을 받으면서, 그리고 많은 시청자분들의 또 응원에 따라 이렇게 오프라인 무대에서 많은 분들을 모시고 즐거운 시간을 보냈습니다. 오늘 이렇게 결승전 함께해 주셨고 이번 시즌 함께해 주셨는데요, 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 먼저 우리 ASL 팬분들 이렇게 현장에 와주신 500여 분 너무나 감사드리고요. 여러분들 여기 아마 거의 처음 오셨을 것 같아요. 이곳이 아프리카TV의 세 번째 경기장입니다. 상암 콜로세움. 저도 상암 콜로세움 무대에는 지금 처음 올라와 보는데요. 앞으로 여기에서 ASL뿐만 아니라 여러 다양한 e스포츠 대회들을 진행할 테니까 여러분들의 많은 관심과 성원을 부탁드리겠습니다. 감사합니다.
네, 다시 한번 감사드립니다. 이렇게 멋진 무대에서 ASL 시즌 13 결승전 대결이 펼쳐졌습니다. 자, 이제 오늘의 최고의 선수 시상을 이어가도록 하겠습니다. 나의 레벨은 다르다. 어나더 레벨 핫식스와 함께한 ASL 시즌 13 대망의 우승 노력 인내 재능 그 모든 걸 다 갖춘 선수입니다. 테란의 빛 이재호. 이 선수가 걸어온 길 우승을 차지하기까지 정말 오랜 시간이 걸렸습니다. 많은 팬들의 사랑, 동료의 사랑, 자신의 그 노력 정말 포기하지 않고 끝까지 최선을 다해주면서 이번 시즌 드디어 우승 트로피를 들어올리게 됐습니다. 다시 한번 축하 말씀드리고요. 앞으로도 열심히 노력해서 테란의 레전드, 리빙 레전드의 모습을 기대하도록 하겠습니다. 다시 한번 축하드리고요. 항상 AS 발전을 위해서 이렇게 멋진 스튜디오까지 만들어주시고 응원해주시고 노력해주신 정찬용 대표이사님께 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수를 부탁드리겠습니다. 고맙습니다. ASL 시즌 13 이재호 선수가 그 데뷔 때 MC게임 히어로 소속으로 활약하는 모습을 계속해서 지켜봤는데 이렇게 우승을 차지하는 데까지 15년, 16년이 걸렸습니다. 바로 이재호 선수의 노력 그리고 인내로서 이렇게 멋진 트로피를 받아가는 게 아닌가 생각이 듭니다. 다시 한번 그 기간 동안 포기하지 않고 최선을 다해주면서 많은 팬분들에게 깊은 감동을 선사해준 이재호 선수에게 진심으로 감사의 말씀 드리겠습니다. 자, 이렇게 멋진 무대에서 정말 오랜만에 여러분들과 함께하는 즐거운 시간을 보냈는데요. 여러분의 그 열정과 사랑이 없으면 지금 선수들과 저희 중계진도 없다고 생각합니다. 앞으로도 최선을 다하고 더 많은 분들을 모시고 더 좋은 환경에서 중계할 수 있도록 저희가 노력하도록 하겠습니다. 이렇게 짧은 시간 동안에 이 상암 콜로세움에서 결승전을 펼치게 되는 데에서 스텝 여러분께서는 정말 고생이 많으셨거든요. 다시 한번 감사하다는 말씀 드리면서 이제 마지막 이재호 선수 16년을 기다려왔습니다. 그리고 ASL 시즌 초반부터 지금까지 우승 트로피를 들어올리기 위해서 많은 노력을 해줬거든요. 마지막 세레머니가 나올 때 여러분 끝까지 박수와 환호로 축하해 주시기 부탁드리면서 저희는 이만 물러가도록 하겠습니다. 다음 시즌에 뵙겠습니다. 여러분 고맙습니다.
What an amazing performance by Light. He did it. He won 4-0. And thus, it is the end of this ASL story. Light looking untouchable. He's overcome all odds. And in a match that we thought was going to be so close, it couldn't have been more one-sided.
Yeah, and I mean, not a more deserving champion exists. Light has been grinding for just so many years, more than 15 years as a pro gamer, and now he has his ASL championship, the best Terran in the world.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us for this whole season of ASL, and we're going to be back with Season 14. We love you guys. Thanks again to everybody on Patreon. From Tastosis and Tastosis, we're signing out.